the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game. 1 second left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vane, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech Football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a New River thing. Virginia Tech fire, Radford pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as a valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark, Big dog sports talk, lighten up the dark. He's got the scoop, faster than a sprint. Calling plays like a coach, every word's a hint. From the courts to the fields, the stories unfold. Rick's play-by-play, worth its weight in gold. With a laugh and a growl, he'll pull you in. Big Dog's podcast, let the games begin. Big Dog Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the
Hope everybody's great wherever you might be.
lighten up the dark.
Hit us up on the Professional Incorporated text line or in the McClellan Chiropractic chat room. Hope everybody's doing well. We are live here on YouTube. Subscribe, like, and share our channel. We're up to 810. We're motoring our way toward 1,000. Coming up, man, we're loaded again today. David Smith, in just a little bit, our NFL correspondent. We're talking about some of the best coaching hires this last cycle, some of the worst.
Feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders.
Andy Bitter from Tech Sideline. Alex Guerra, the head baseball coach at Radford University. Radford off to a good start.
Lighten up the dark. Big Dog Sports.
And then Dwight Vick. So, yeah,
Rick's in the zone, every day.
that's free valued entertainment for you.
He's got the spark. Big Dog Sports Talk. Lighten up the dark.
We're still getting a great reaction yesterday from having Paige and Lauren on the show. That was a lot of fun. They were great. Go out and buy Lauren's book. I think a couple people already bought it. Get started by saying a very happy birthday to my daughter, Stephanie. She made me a dad 25 years ago today. Oh, my God. But in any event, so proud of her. Not easy be a young person today, and she's well-grounded. and a very strong young woman who has earned her career and everything she's gotten in school, and she's worked hard, and she's always been a hard worker. So happy birthday to my daughter today. And thank you for the happy birthday comments down in the section. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So I bet you I got no less than 24 text messages throughout the day yesterday, and many of them asking me if I thought that Virginia Tech was going to pull the trigger on Mike Young. There are a lot of people that are very concerned, a lot of people upset about the direction of the basketball program. My answer is this: no, I don't believe he's in danger of being fired. Will there be some staff changes? Potentially. And will he do some soul searching? He might just say, you know what? We stuck our toe into the NIL. I'm sorry. Falling into my own trap. Pay for play waters, and it backfired. But no, I do not believe that Whit Babcock will. Now, that can change. If there's a complete implosion down the stretch and you lose at home to Wake in Carolina, Virginia, you can go out early in the tournament, but I don't feel that that's going to happen. Just that best answer I can give you right now is no, I do not believe. Unless it's voluntarily, unless a complete implosion. Now, if they just stop playing and they get beat badly in every game, then you might have to look at the program. But no, I don't believe so. From the Barter Theater, where Peck and Borgnine started, the Palm Coast, where Marineland showcases Dolphins, BDST is live and online. But legends are born when the curtain rises and the tide comes in. Oh, Morris, you're in rare form this morning. Have you already started your drink testing, Morris? Is that where we are? Good stuff. Look, I know it's frustrating, Tech fan. I get it. I understand. And I'm really fond of Mike Young as a person. I knew his dad. I had a really good relationship with his dad, Bob Young. Great man. God rest his soul. So I'm probably a little biased in my thinking. But just looking at it, separating all that, I don't believe so. I mean, who are you going to get? And then you got to pay out a buyout, and then you got to pay a new coach and new staff, and all of a sudden you're adding more financial constraints. So I don't know. But I don't think so, no. But not to say things don't have to improve at the same time. Like, this thing has gone downhill, and it really shouldn't have. It's funny how things that we talk about show up on X. It's insane. The next day or the next couple of days. And I know I say that a lot, but it's true. So now you see all these threads about Avidalis being a disappointment. What's going on? Why is he not shooting? Where's his confidence? Exactly how we worded it, showing up. You're welcome. You can at least tag us. You can at least tag the show. Thank you, Malcolm. Yeah, Malcolm's saying, hey, I just want to remind you that yesterday's show was terrific. Thanks so much to the interviews you had with the two women at the end. Yeah, Lauren Sisler and Paige Gwynn. That was great. That was great. And Lauren, very inspirational. You know, we all have things that have happened in our lives. And, you know, she lost her parents. She lost her brother. And look how she's persevered. It is very, very encouraging. It was. Very strong ladies. We'll work on getting both on again. And go out and buy Lauren's book, Shatterproof. Check it out. Thank you, Prometheus. Appreciate that. Good morning to you. Yep. She's getting her master's this semester at Virginia Tech. She's already got her teaching job. I'm very proud of her. She went from VCU, got her degree. Now she's here finishing up in Blacksburg, living in Blacksburg, and very proud of her. Very proud of her. Every year you do have to mesh and get a new team. And again, that's might be something that Mike may have to look at and go, do I want to keep doing this? He doesn't need the money. And that becomes a personal choice. She likes to be at sporting events. She's not a real sporting girl. Like if she goes to a basketball game, oh yeah, she'll cheer. She goes to a football game, she wears her Hokie gear. You know, she's not embedded in it, but yeah, she wants them to do well. Yeah, she went to a few of the football games last year. Yeah. Not a huge sports gal. Now, she was a decent soccer player when she was younger. Yeah. But yeah, she gets into it. She gets into it. When she's there, she gets into it. Sure. Thank you, Morris. Yeah, I am. My first child was a daughter. You always dream, let's just be honest. When you're a man, you want a son. I had a daughter. Never have once wished it would have gone the other way. Yeah, it's like your wife. Yeah. See, yeah, they're probably similar personality. They're not going to leave the game if they lose crushed. If they win, she'll be like, yeah, But she's finishing up over at Tech this semester. So, and she likes that. She lived down in Richmond at VCU. She likes to be around campus and the bigger population. She likes the whole college community thing. So good for her. That's where she and I differ. I like to be away from it. Don't mind working in it. Appreciate it, but I don't want to be there every day and night. But thank you for everybody. Great comments yesterday about yesterday's show. And by the way, text line pops all day, and that's great. Professional door. Thank you so much, Travis. 391-0788. It's there for you. And I do try to respond. I tried to respond to as many of the folks yesterday who asked me about Mike Young. But we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. Thanks to Family Fencing, sponsor of our studio here in Ryder, 540-200-8294. Give Jason Green a call, and they will come and do a free quote. And they want to listen to you about all your needs. They don't want to just dictate. They want to listen. And then they'll give you your advice about the best way to handle it. I'm still thinking about getting some fencing here at the house. I'm going to get them over here. McClellan Chiropractic Clinic, thanks to Mark Hunley. Peppers Ferry Road, right off of Walters Drive, 155 Walters Drive. He's the best. Sponsor of our chat room, which has become such an integral part of the show. We're presented each and every day by Pulaski County Sports Entertainment. Thanks so much to Jonathan Sweet and Tim Miller. Little River Heating and Air, that is my man Charles Lee. Terrific. 540-553-2971. Thanks to all the people that have utilized them through the show. We help a lot of people that have sponsored the show as much as you help me. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply. Give James a call, 540-381-8011. They've been around since 1997. Parts for windows, doors, plumbing supplies, installation. The NRV Super Bowl. Everybody knows the Super Bowl over there in Christiansburg near the DMV, 25 years plus. 382-5525. The weekend's coming up. They've got the great weekend bowling deals. Get your group over there and have a great time. Thanks to Brandon at Top Shelf Apparel, Louise Baker, Ryan Pry, the attorney, for our fan question of the week. National Bank, member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner, BDST, my exclusive banking partner. Mentioned Professional Door, residential commercial garage doors, family owned and operated for 38 years. Travis is the best. ReadySetFund.com, thanks to Bob Christ. BOBCRIST11@gmail. Send him an Gmail and ask him more about it, or go to ReadySetFund.com, raise money for your team, school, event, whatever it might be, and have fun. No, I did not. TLB, you'll have to give me the Cliff Notes. Seth Greenberg gave an opinion about what's going on at UCLA. Yeah, UCLA athletics is a disaster. Like I'm going to ask, next week, I'm going to ask Matt Rohn, the director of athletics at James Madison, now that the hay's in the barn and you guys are, you've recovered with Billy Napier and the staff and you've recruited very well. Have you seen JMU's class for what, any event, I'm going to say, did you give Bob Chesney advice about going to California? Not Seth, Captain Meltdown Greenberg, Chris says, commenting about anything is diabolical. Yes, very true. Very true, Chris. Oh, okay, Prometheus, you came in a little late. It's great. Coming up in just a little bit, David Smith. We're going to talk about the NFL coaching hires. Andy Bitter from Tech Sideline. Alex Guerra, the head baseball coach at Radford. And then Dwight Vick. So we're loaded, man. Absolutely. We got great stuff today. We always have good stuff. I'd like to think we have good stuff. I'm going to think we have good stuff. DLB, our first child is a daughter too, Rick. Changed my whole world in a wonderful way. Yeah. Because you're already unsure if you're a dude. Let's just say the way it is. If you're a dude and you're already unsure about being a parent and you find out that your first child's going to be a daughter, then all of a sudden you're like, okay. Morris says Seth should know before he got fired at Tech, he ran all the coaches off. Correct. Ran all the players off. Correct. Had a horrible relationship with administration. No, he's not a good human being. And I don't care if he ever sees this. And I don't care. He's one of the worst people I've ever met in this business. And you can just see it. That's why I don't ever watch him on there. I told you the story. And you think about the ego that it takes to do what he did. And we were exploding at that time. This show was really taking off. We had just, like I said, he was the head coach over at Tech. And we were the first ones to have the news that Tech was getting accepted into the ACC, and then everything just went nuts. And for them to reach out, for him to reach out, and I thought it was just a goodwill nature. Hey, you guys over on the Bear carry our games. I'd like to be part of your show. And then to say that you wanted $500 a week. And it was just typical. And then we had his brother at Radford. Now, we did go to an NCAA tournament. But, yeah. He's not allowed to ever coach basketball again in this country. Did you realize that, Brad Greenberg? Yes, he has, Chris. He has. No self-awareness, pomposity, arrogance, entitlement, whatever words you want to use toward him is all accurate. It blows my mind. And I don't know how they can sit there on a set with that guy. I really don't. And who cares what he has to say about anything? I mean, there's a reason nobody else hired him, right? He wanted to get back into coaching. He can sit there and say, oh, I'm having fun doing this. But no, he thought he was going to just be gobbled up. And that hasn't happened. And, well, no school. Yeah, when Lou Merritt tells you that the guy needs to go, yeah, there you go, Morris. Yeah. And then the whole Steph Curry debacle, which, by the way, is real. I've seen some people say, I didn't. And no, that's exactly the way it went down. Dell has been very vocal about it. I mean, Dell Curry, for goodness sakes. Virginia Tech basketball legacy. Creed's getting into a lot of stuff this morning. So all that's real. Yeah, Mick Cronin should have been fired yesterday, in my opinion. He ejected his own player, and I watched the play 3 or 4 times. It's not a dirty foul. It was a hard foul, But he was the only player in the game. I don't even know who the kid is because I don't follow them anymore. But I don't know who the kid is, but they're down 20-something to Michigan State, just beating the hell out of them. And so there was a steal, and they had a breakaway, and he didn't want him to go up and just for an easy dunk. So he hustled back, and it was a hard foul. It wasn't like a shove in the back or a punch in the back of the head or a push again. And then Mick Cronin grabs his own player. Go watch the video. By the jersey. And he's pulling him over to the sideline. And he gets all demonstrative and in his face. And the kid's just like, yeah, I fouled him. And he sends him off the floor with a policeman. Excuse my language, but it's the biggest bunch of bullshit I've ever seen in my life. I can't imagine a coach doing that to one of his own players when it's just a hard foul. Hey, at least he's hustling. He should have been fired yesterday. UCLA, not a word, because they have a horrible AD. Martin Jarmon's one of the worst athletic directors in the country. And he just extended Mick Cronin like 2 months ago. And now they have this huge buyout. But there's no way that he's ever getting the clubhouse back. And there's no way that this team's going to play for him the rest of the year. And then there's no way that he's going to be able to recruit. How do you grab one of your own kids? You're there to defend your kids. It's not like he did anything criminal. Go look at the play, and you tell me if you think it deserves him acting that way. I can't imagine being a coach and going over to one of my guys, even though your season's not going the way it should be, who's actually – and the kid sprinted down the floor, right? His instinct was, oh, they're going to have a dunk. At the very least, I'm going to get over there and try to challenge it, and I fouled him. Yeah, the kid got up. The Michigan State kid got up. I don't know, there was some yammering, but it wasn't anything like major. And he threw his own player out of the game. For that act alone, you should be fired. And then he blows up at a reporter after the game. Why do these coaches feel like they're so entitled and above reporters, above coverage? I don't understand it. I guess the money's gotten so big. Hey, Mick, what have you ever really won? But he was that way at Cincinnati to a certain degree, but I never did ever expect to see a coach throw one of his own players out of the game for playing hard. If anything, when I've watched it, I wanted to make sure it wasn't like the kid like trying to get a shot in, and he did not. I would have used that with the rest of my team. I'd have pulled him aside after the game and said, hey, I don't know what his name was. Did you see what Bobby did right here? Did you see how he hustled back? We're beaten by 25 points with 2 minutes to go. And he actually was that much into the game that he went back to make a play to at least try to contend an easy bucket. That's what we need permeating through our program. Don't ever stop playing despite the score. Instead, what you've done is you've now told your team that you are the star. You didn't want to be embarrassed. And I have no respect for you. Basically, Mick Cronin told that player and the rest of his players, I don't have a lot of respect for you. Even after they came, and I know they're getting paid, but even after they came to play for him. It was disgusting. But yeah, it's UCLA athletics. And I'm going to ask Matt Roan, getting back to my point, did you try to warn Bob Chesney? Why would you go to California? Did you see all the reports of Sam Darnold that he gets taxed? Apparently, those state rules that the Super Bowl money that he won, he got taxed and he actually lost money or something. Why would you go there with all the rules, with all the politics, with the horrible leadership, one of the worst governors in the country? Why would you go there with an athletic administration who really doesn't care about sports? With a fan base who fills up the Rose Bowl about 25-30%. And then they fired. Did you see that too? The guy that was trying to get them this deal in SoFi Stadium got fired, got kicked out of the athletic administration a couple of days ago. But he threw his own player out of a game, and he still has a job. Go watch the video. It's all over the place. You can't miss it. Watch the play. You could probably go watch it now and hit me up in chat. Go watch the play. And it's all over YouTube. You just have to type in Mick Cronin player ejection. And you tell me you think it was a dirty play. Watch the kid's reaction when Cronin's over there jerking his jersey, and he's just like, what? What are we doing? I don't know, man. Meltdown City. And UCLA probably won't win another game, and they don't deserve to win another game. I hope they don't. I hope they don't. It did. It got me mad. Now, it wasn't like Bobby Knight, though. Bobby Knight would not have embarrassed his own player like that. I mean, he would get into his players and over there in the huddle. I can't imagine Bobby Knight ever going over and making any, because he talked about the value of his players. Now, yeah, he would get into them. There's no question. And you could watch in the huddle. In the locker room, I know he would get into him. Quinn Buckner, the former great guard for Bobby Knight on those great Indiana teams, talked about it was hard coaching, but something they really respected. And I know he threw chairs. I know he did some things that were strange, but I can't imagine him ever jerking one of his players off the floor and getting a cop to just. He did. He did some wild stuff, throwing of the chair. He did. He was a legend at that time. You're right. I mean, I'm not going to condone some of the things that Bobby Knight did. I'm not. But that's the point too, Morris. You never heard any of his players who went through there talk bad about him. They talk about how much respect and how much he knew, how much they knew he really loved them. I don't think any of the UCLA players are saying that about Mick Cronin. But in any event, good stuff. No, it's not good stuff, but it's good stuff to react to. All right. Well, I think there was a lot of things building up, Chris, to the whole thing with him getting fired. And that was finally the newer administration wanted him out of there. Right? So I think that was the thing that finally got him out of there. Yeah. So you're right about that. You are right about that. Toward the end, yeah. Toward the end, it got a little more ugly than it ever did. It did. It's never ugly when we had this gentleman on. He's the Radford Hall of Fame.
That's a bad segue. It may be an appropriate segue, but speaking of ugly, Freudian slip. Freudian slip.
What's going on, brother? How are you?
Or Freudian intentional. Either way, I'm here. Good morning to you, man. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing all right, man. I'm hanging in there.
I heard your Mick Cronin take.
Did you see the highlight?
Yeah, man. The moment I saw it, I said to myself, Mick Cronin acts like he's won 10 national championships, and it still would be wrong. It still would be wrong.
I
don't know. Mick Cronin's just always that guy. I don't know if it's the Napoleon complex. I don't know if it's I got to show you I'm tough. Listen, he's annoying as heck anyway. God bless people want to play for him. Yes. I mean, and it's UCLA's brand. And I heard you also talk about the fact that they just that brand represents so much excellence that right now they've got to figure that thing out. And maybe Bob Chesney is the guy. and the coach close, the women's basketball coach, who's done a great job. Maybe it's people like that can try to bring some of the spirit back to it. But Rick, you and I grew up in a time where UCLA was revered.
Oh, no question. It was the athletic program in the country. No question.
It was it. And I mean, this John Wooden thing was, stood alone. But I'm talking even beyond that. Jim Herrick won a national championship. You're talking about having a lot of success in other sports, track and field, and you're close to it. You're a big West Coast fan on a lot of these things. A lot of us in the East Coast aren't. That's even more dialed in. To see Mick Cronin act like that, the guy actually, I've seen a lot worse fouls than that.
I was going to say, right?
Let me tell you. Let me tell you something. I played for a guy. I just talked to him yesterday, Coach Davis. So we got to get on here one of these days, by the way, too, Rick. I'd love to.
Yeah, we do.
Coach Davis, we were on a bad side of a lot of these games. And I'm telling you, all he ever wanted to see in those huddles, he didn't care about the game anymore. I mean, and to see him now or to even know him then, you wouldn't think he was that guy. But I'm telling you, in those huddles, all he talked about, and he would just get beat red in the face. And he would talk about, I don't care about the game no more. I just need to see somebody not just have their way, right? Now, there's ways to do that. He didn't want anyone hurt. He didn't want anything flagrant. He just wanted you to not just allow people to just mock you through the game.
Right.
And the kids played while the result was bad. He was like, I'm not going to see another dunk down 20-something. And so the spirit of what he was trying to do wasn't the worst I'd seen. But Mick Cronin just wanted to grandstand on that, and it's going to cost him his job at some point. That's just poor. He's just mad because his team isn't winning. And I'll leave. I
think so.
I'll shut up on this point after this, though. There are coaches who can push us and make us do things, and we're here for it all. And I'm speaking in an athlete voice now, right? But you ask us to be disciplined in everything we do. Hey, man, don't pay attention to the taunting. Hey, man, you got to stand up and not let it affect you. And then the coaches don't have the very same discipline they ask us to have. It's a double standard. It's hypocrisy. And don't give me this, hey, I'm a competitor, man, acting like we don't want to compete. So I just find that to be weak. And I believe Mick Cronin has caused himself more problems. Jay Billis said it best on a podcast I heard yesterday. A play that would have just gone under the radar with nothing to it has now inflamed to a place that has now put him on Front Street, a lot like Jerome Tang the other day at Kansas State. Yeah. It's just, you guys get these microphones. There's a responsibility to these bad boys, because both of the things that both of those teams have in common, though, Rick, and I know Keon talks about a lot of this stuff on his spot, is those teams aren't winning. And when things aren't happening good for you, there's the deal. And well, let's tie it all back to what you talked about a lot yesterday or the day before. When people and players are getting paid a lot of money, now everybody is saying, okay, we'll dole it out. Go get it right. Yeah. And when you don't get it right, you now are going to be held accountable, and the pressure mounts, because it's one thing when you got scholarship kids. You say, you know what? I just got the wrong scholarship kids. Now so that's the administration talking to you. But when you've got the NIL funders, the third-party funders doling out money, and you're not getting performance, you can best believe the noise is going to get loud and the pressure mounts, and this is the land we're in.
It is. Well, I don't know. For me, I would have used the kid the other way. Hey, look, he's hustling. He didn't take the guy's head off. At least he tried to get back and prevent it. Yeah, you're going to lose the game, but to escort your own player off the floor, and I'm not condoning how Bobby Knight was, and I know it's a different time when Bobby Knight was getting on his way out, and then what's happening now in the world. It's a much different environment around sports and about how coaches can treat players, right?
Probably should be.
Maybe that was the start of it. Yeah, and probably should be, but I've never seen a guy work that hard to throw his own guy out of a game. I just thought that was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was too impulsive. And again, like you said, he probably should have got the guy and called him over in the middle of the game and said, hey, now, listen, the effort was noble, but we got to be respectful of the game. You could do that. And then to chastise the guy in the press conference, like the guy did something that probably a student reporter in the press conference after the game. Are you yelling at me? It's like, Mick Cronin, for goodness sake, just check the temperature of the room. Your program's in a bad place. The guy asking the questions didn't do it.
I know.
Wasn't his fault.
You know, as a sophomore for Joel Hicks, in the very first game I got to play, I chased Wayne Fleming quarterback around the field, because I'm out there. We're winning the game, but you're all wide-eyed.
Got to impress coach.
So I chased him to the left. I couldn't get him. Chased him to the right. So he got ready to step out of bounds. I left my feet and I drilled him over the bench, and their guys were kicking me and hitting me. And then Jack Turner pulls me out of the huddle, and Coach Hicks pulls me out of the game. And he comes over and he's doing this right here. And I'm like, uh-oh. You knew it was coming. I got a personal foul. Rick, I appreciate the effort, but you got to be smarter.
That's it.
Be smarter next time. And he put me right back in the game. One play, and that was it. I never did it again.
It still resonates to you to this day.
Yeah, I still remember the moment like it just happened. Yeah.
It's important. And again, it's not that the kid – again, I'd rather have seen him not just – if he had lollygagged back, Cronin probably would have not let him fly home. So either way, the guy wasn't going to win. If he hadn't hustled back to try to make a play on the ball, Cronin probably would have jumped on him too. So it's a little crazy, but UCLA's got more problems than that kid. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Good luck, Bob Chesney. That's all I got to say.
Go save them all.
Good luck, Bob. Good luck.
Save them all. Save them all.
All right, National Football League. I have to get your take on everything that's going on. But anyway,
I'm here for it.
We had coaching hires. Let's start with your guys. A guy that's been on this show twice when he was the head coach at Boston College.
Right.
Jeff Hafley. I really liked him. I thought he was really, really good to talk to. He seemed to have a good mindset. He went back to the league, built up his NFL, reputation a little bit with the Packers, and now he's the head coach. What are you feeling as a Dolphins fan? To me, I think he's going to be a good guy to oversee the program and get what it means to be a head coach at that level, especially since he was a head coach at BC.
Well, Rick, I like the hire, and all I know about the hire is the press conference. Yeah. And so I don't have a lot there up in terms of what I think he can do for Miami, just like all the other 9 coaches that are hired. But we at least have a track record of him having a head coaching job at a place that's a tough place to win. He had a respectable career there.
He really did. He really
had a respectable career. And if you can ask all these Virginia Tech fans that are on your show, if Boston College plays Tech, you can best believe one thing. Don't write that game in. It's going to be something. For those of us that sat in the rain, I think it was 2007. I was one. You know where I'm going. The Matt Ryan game up 10-0 in the pouring rain, and we lose that game 14-10. Fortunately, we got them back in the championship game that year. Right. But I'm here to tell you that BC was always bringing it in. Even when I think it was a doozy, I think it was. Even when he was there, he had the tough guys in there. So Hafley took a job that was a tough job. It's not an easy job at BC. They've got their kind of limitations on the type of kid that they want to have there and that kind of thing. He did a really good job. I think that I'm happy, Rick, that we've got him. Here's the deal. I just wanted to see a plan. I wanted to see continuity. Miami has been, the Mike McDaniel experiment after we had fast break on turf for about a year and a half, and we revolutionized the 4x1 track team. Once the league figured out what to do with them, hit them hard and make them pay. And let's see if Tua can hold it for 1,002, 1,003. At that point, he melted. And I was a fan of Tua. I didn't see this coming. I realized, Rick, at that point, we had to make a change. And now we're going to a guy who I feel like can bring the juice. He's been at Green Bay. What's important about Green Bay is the fact that they have built quarterbacks over time.
That's right.
They have done that. They transitioned, of course, to Aaron Rodgers stretch with LaFleur, and then they move into Jordan Love. And even Malik Willis, who I'm crossing my fingers that we can get in this free agency. We've got the GM that's a Green Bay guy. You're starting to see some of the things starting to line up. And that's how this league works, Rick. It is a kind of alignment when they build these programs. And I don't know that I hate that, because guess what? In the very profession you're in, when people are hired, who do they bring to be on their staff? People they've never worked with, or right, people that they work with. It's familiarity. And I understand. I get that, because it's people you can count on. So in a nutshell, Rick, I'm happy with it. And you can start seeing that we're already making the moves. We've released Tyreek, which was expected. We've released Bradley Chubb, which was somewhat expected. He was banged up all last year. Now we've got to figure out what we're going to do with Tua. And a lot like your Broncos, you've got this horrible contract with a guy that's not fitting into the plans. And then the question becomes, will we trade him, sit him, release him, take the L, and just try to find a way to get through it? And man, listen, I would do what your Broncos did if I could get to the championship game and host it. If you could guarantee I could get that, I would do that. So I'm a fan of Jeff Hafley and look forward to seeing what he can do with this new roster.
Problem is, there's not a quarterback draft. You only have really one that I think is a sure thing. I mean, I don't see another quarterback really being a first round guy other than Mendoza. That's the problem. So I think they're going to have to ride. I think he wants to have a year to see if he can try to make that work. Does that make sense? I would think.
Well, I think, Rick, from a financial standpoint, you almost stuck with Tua, but there sure would be a reluctancy in that thing, unless you can get in there and just all of a sudden convert him into a new thing, which rarely happens. Most times, you talk about having alignment in ownership, alignment at the general manager position, alignment with head coach, and alignment with quarterback. And obviously the owners just hired them, so you feel like out of the gate you're going to have some of that. The Tua component, it's kind of rare that they get a guy in there and they say, you know what, we're going to see what happens. I think Miami may be stuck with that. I don't know if it's their optimal choice, to be honest with you. I feel like it's the Malik Willis thing that I wish that they could try to get done. And if they do that, then Tua's got to go. You can't keep both of those on the roster. And then just find yourself. Now, Malik Willis played so good for Green Bay when Jordan Love was out. Now, I saw Malik Willis also not play great when he was in Tennessee. But, Rick, as we know in this profession, you get good coaching with good quarterback play, and it'll make a difference, just as bad coaching will. And so I'd love to see Malik Willis. That would be the third piece of that wheel that has some continuity to come down here and try to make that thing happen. We'll see how it all plays out.
Well, I guess on paper, the Giants and what the Falcons did, they hired the two most popular veteran guys. John Harbaugh to the Giants is kind of a no-brainer. I think that'll immediately pay dividends. And I think Kevin Stefanski is a pretty good coach. I think he was with a terrible organization that made terrible decisions above him, made him do some things in the draft he didn't really want to do. We'll see how he does with Atlanta. He's got another kind of overbearing owner that kind of makes some bad decisions, so we'll see. But which one of these others do you like, low key? I know which one that I like the best. What about you? Which one do you like the best?
I think I know who you like the best, and I'm going to tell you how I rated the top three, and it segues into what you said perfectly. It's hard to not like the Jim Harbaugh to the Giants the best. Hard to not like that, right? On paper, you've got a proven winner, 18 years in one place, always a perennial team that was going to be in the mix every single year with Baltimore. Now, again, Baltimore's culture creates a lot of that, but he was a special teams coach before he got hired. It's hard to even imagine that that's how he started. So I like that as the best. I think the one you like the best, and that was my number 2 choice, is Clint Kubiak with the Raiders.
See, I think that's who you and I are brothers.
I know.
I love it. I love what they're doing. I hate it.
Hate it and love it.
But I love it. It makes so much sense. They're going to pair him with Mendoza, and
it's a beautiful thing. Now, listen, you've got Brock Bowers, he walked onto the football field at Georgia as a high schooler, dominated the SEC, walked into the NFL as a rookie, dominated the NFL as a tight end. We're not talking about a guy with the ball in his hands until you get it to him, not a quarterback. So you've got him. I think Ashton Junty is going to do great.
I do too.
I just think that they just listen. I was a fan of the Pete Carroll hire. I did not see it ending like that. Boy, when the end comes without any warning, it can end with a thud, can it? And
it can.
But and you figure, I'm going to get Geno. Geno's going to come in. Had just had that great year, but then Geno became Geno, as we know. And so, and we've seen this. God bless his career. He's probably got $150 million in the bank. But you know about every so often, like the cicadas, the real Geno's going to show up, isn't he? He's just going to show up, and he really didn't help. He didn't have a lot to work with. But different people that I'm hearing is talking about the fact that Mendoza, who's bigger than I thought, and realize he, doing some of this draft looking at stuff. He's 6'4", 6'5". I didn't realize he was that big a guy. And with Brady hovering over, you know that they're going to do a good thing. And I think the third best pick is Rick between the Ravens hire of Jesse Minter and Robert Saleh going to Tennessee. I don't think Tennessee's record wasn't great, but I think I read where every year there are 5 or 6 new NFL teams in the playoffs every year. And a lot of them come out of nowhere, 4-win teams making the playoffs. I think Tennessee's going to be a lot better in a division that has Houston at the top. I know the Colts are doing well, and so is Jacksonville. I think Tennessee, who was competitive in a handful of their games this year with Cam Ward, I think they're going to be in the mix too. So those are the 3 that I like the most. But again, who are we? He's sitting here in February.
Well, I have somebody asking in chat about Joe Brady in Buffalo. For me, the only good thing about it was your quarterback made the hire, and Josh Allen
exactly
needed to
right.
be kept happy. That was what that was. I mean,
That's right.
That's why they did that. I have a feeling we're going to find out Josh probably had some problems with the previous coach, Sean McDermott, my guess, and now this is the guy he wanted. Josh Allen, for all the accolades, hasn't won a damn thing in the NFL. I mean, it's time for him to either get it done now with his coach, and if he doesn't, then there's going to be a lot of questions about his legacy, I think, going forward.
You're right, and heavy as a head, that's a quarterback. But I will tell you, there's probably been 2 or 3 games that ended the Buffalo Bills season where Josh Allen had done enough to win the game, and the defense or someone on the other team made a great play. Now, no one cares about that, Rick, because all we care about is, then why weren't you up 9 points? If you wipe,
right.
That's why they give you humongous rings for winning it, because it's really almost like I don't care what the issues were. You know, what's the old saying? I don't care about the labor pain. Show me the baby. It's one of those kind of deals. If we're going to make excuses for it all the way through, then you're not who we thought you were.
That's
so
right.
To me,
that's right.
And now, I don't know that that's always valid, because I also think that quarterback wins is an overrated stat. I don't want to hear about quarterback wins all the time. Dan Marino was my guy. He did all he could do. He had no running game and no defense. So Dan Marino, this, that, and the other. If you watch those Miami Dolphins teams with Dan Marino on it, he was doing all he could, revolutionizing the sport, and he would leave 38 points in the game and lose 41-38. Marino didn't get another win. What do you want him to do?
It's all on Marino.
5 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Buffalo's starting to come along, and we couldn't get through them. So when I think about Josh Allen, I believe, if you're going to get rid of Sean McDermott, and Ricky opening up a beautiful new stadium, so you've got all that going on. I was actually a little surprised that he didn't keep his job. I really was.
I was too. That's why I think something's going on behind the scenes. I really did.
That's because it can't be. He was 98-40, 98-40, and made it to the playoffs and had a chance to win the game. It's unbelievable. You talk about the 2 pass interference calls against your boys late in the game. Josh Allen wasn't playing DB, right? And so now,
no.
Did he make mistakes? Did he have turnovers in the game? Yes, he did. You know who else had turnovers in the game? Brett Favre. You know who else had turnovers in the game? Terry Bradshaw. Go back and look at the interceptions.
John Elway.
Oh, God, Rick, you lived it. And so that's one of those where you say, just give me another shot and I'm going to prove you right. Because what other choice do you have if you're Buffalo? He started every game, I think, since he's been in the league, but maybe one. What is Buffalo without Josh Allen? What are they?
Exactly.
They're the Titans.
Exactly. Well, yeah, they are.
They're the Titans. So, and by the way, I don't know if you believe this or not. So to answer the chat about the Joe Brady hire, yes, it's going to be fine. He's never been a head coach. He was the coordinator at LSU with the Joe Burrow group, but that group was on automatic pilot. Did you see that roster?
Yeah, they didn't have to do much.
Now, by the way, I'm not knocking it because it was the SEC that they went through when the SEC was legit. You talking Nick Saban and that group was there. There was Ed Orgeron coaching. Ed Orgeron, Louisiana tough and all that. But you had Chase, you had Jefferson, you had Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Joe Burrow, baby. And I'm telling you, and they ran the table. But so we'll see, Rick. I think it was a comfort move that they said, you know what? It's almost like it's not a real firing. It's just in-house move kind of thing. It's what they seem to do. Seems like a soft landing to me. We'll see how it plays out.
Well, let's go to the other end of the spectrum, because the two that are drawing the most scrutiny, obviously, in Pittsburgh with Mike McCarthy, who seems like a generally good dude. This isn't a personal thing at all, but it's a head scratcher to me. This is the organization who's hired 3 coaches since 1969, and all 3 won Super Bowls. All 3 are Hall of Famers, and now you hire Mike McCarthy. I'm trying to figure it out, and I think a lot of Steeler fans are trying to figure it out still.
Yeah, not a lot of energy in the hire, was it, Rick? Not a lot of energy. Now, can he prove us wrong? Certainly. Can anything happen? Yes, it could happen. It could snow in April too, right? So now here's the thing. Mike McCarthy is the very thing that Pittsburgh was trying to move from. Now, this is Mike Tomlin leaving on his own, quote unquote. It's enough of this. If you don't like my mediocrity, as you call it, if you don't like the fact that we've not had losing seasons, I'm going to move on. I've had enough of it. So now you bring in a guy who's probably known, other than his Super Bowl runs with a Hall of Fame quarterback, a lot of the same kind of stuff. He's had some peak seasons, Rick. He's a Pittsburgh guy, which I guess should matter, but I don't know how it equates to it, Rick. It really, I mean, did anybody ever think that Mike Tomlin, because he was from Newport News, wasn't a fit for Pitt? It never came up. So,
Never,
I mean, you know, the fact that we love Jim Harbaugh going to the Giants, he's not a New York guy. I think his dad coached, that Michigan, Ohio State, all that stuff. So that may be a little overrated to me. Now, he leans more offense, which is probably what Pittsburgh, you know what happens, Rick, when things don't go your way on one side, you tend to overcorrect. Let's go more offense now. But what do we know Pittsburgh for largely, Rick, throughout our life? And you and I, we still curtain kind of guys.
All defense. Yep.
Defense. They're blocked, just like the Bears. The Bears can be anything you want them to be, and they got Caleb and the whole bit. But the Bears better be known for monsters of the midway and toughness, Dick Butkus and the 85 Bears and all that. So you are branded a certain way. So I think Pittsburgh's biggest problem is a little bit of both. And you're talking about a 42-year-old quarterback that may come back again. Now, did anybody see enough in Aaron Rodgers last year to think that the Steelers are going to come back and win 13 games next year? You going to win 13 games with him? Can he stay upright? He was seeing ghosts a lot. Everything he did was 1-2, get it out of my hand. I'm not trying to deal with these boys that are coming after me now. So the McCarthy hire, I don't find it to be sexy. Now, Rick, here's the thing. If Pittsburgh wants to be 9-8 or 10-7, you probably got the guy that's going to get you that again, right?
Congratulations.
But three of the four teams in that division changed coaches. And so now we're going to be able to see exactly what's going on. Of all things, the only one who didn't lose their job was a Cincinnati coach whose team lost and didn't make the playoffs for the third straight year. So I think Rick is to be determined. I am all over the place with this Pittsburgh hire. I'm just not sure how it's going to work out, other than the fact that you would hope that their offense, which has been putrid, relatively speaking, better increase some. But don't forget your brand.
Well, and one more here that is the opposite of what the Bills did. Cleveland hires Todd Monken. Now, everybody on that defense wanted Jim Schwartz.
Everybody.
Who had been a head coach. Now,
Absolutely.
Myles, in my opinion, Myles Garrett is the most dominant player in the NFL right now.
100%.
He's the franchise's best player they've had. You know, I won't say ever, but he's one of already.
He's right there. Mm-hmm.
So they went to him as the Bills went to their quarterback. Now, they don't have a quarterback in Cleveland, so he has no pull. But Myles Garrett said, yeah, we would love Coach Schwartz. I think this would be great. He's ready. I love playing for him. He's my guy. Okay, thanks, Myles. Thanks for everything. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to introduce Todd Monken. And then Myles Garrett had an immediate reaction and left the building and said, I'm not going to say anything else. And everybody's mad, and Schwartz resigns. And I just think you've created something there with your best player that didn't need to be there. And this is the Browns being the Browns once again.
They are. They can't get out of their own way. I mean, they had 5 quarterbacks last year and couldn't any of them play. One's on IR for a bunch of scrutiny mess. They are just sitting there. The best thing you had going was somehow, as bad as your offense was and as inept players you had a defense that was on the field having
Jim
to carry
Schwartz.
the water. And he had them right the whole time. You don't mess that up. Move him up into the next seat, because if nothing else, you can build on that, because the offense was going to be terrible anyway. They haven't figured out what to do in the quarterback position. And the most Cleveland thing ever. Not only that, but it's not like you got, say, John Harbaugh. Then you would go, you know what? Okay, then you can say, then I'm fine. You go get Todd Monken, who there were reports that he and Lamar weren't great in Baltimore.
No, he didn't like him.
He's acerbic as well. Now, the NFL is not made up of weak guys. So when the NFL reports are that a guy is acerbic or he's kind of a different kind of dude, it probably means, and I read some reports that he's a little disingenuous. If the NFL is complaining about you, because that's a league filled with a lot of tough guys. I mean, they've heard a lot of stuff. These guys don't get bothered by much, but they're probably like, yo, even in our league, he's crazy. It's not working. So what you're going to do is you're going to bring him to Cleveland, which doesn't need that. You're going to bring him there, and now all of a sudden you feel like, he's the one to get. And by the way, and then he just dismisses Schwartz like he wasn't even there, almost like not worried about Jim Schwartz. I didn't take this job worrying about Jim Schwartz or something to that lens. All I know is this. Good luck with yourself, Cleveland. You too are getting a new stadium down the road, but this looks like it's going to last about a year and a half. You're going to still not have a quarterback, even though you're going to end up with a high pick, and you're going to continue this hamster wheel. And if I'm Myles Garrett, I'm having somebody work in the background and get me out of there. I know what I said before. I've given you all I can give you, kind of like Giannis with the Bucks, without a title. You know what? I can't do this anymore. My career is waning. If I'm ever going to get a ring, I'm going to have to go get it somewhere else. I wanted to do it here with you, Cleveland, but our front office is inept, to say the least.
And it's not. And Garrett didn't go and say, "I want to have say." They asked him.
Nope,
they brought
that's
him
exactly
in.
Right. Say, what do you think, Miles? What do you think? Well, I think this. We don't care what you think. Well, then why'd you call me? I'm on vacation. I'm going to watch my fiance in the Olympics. I just find it to be crazy. But, you know, Rick, sometimes things are hidden in plain sight. And unfortunately for Cleveland, they can't see. They cannot see. They can't see.
Well, we'll see how it all plays out. And we look forward to seeing what we can come up with again. Maybe we'll focus a little bit on the top of the draft next week. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm here for it. Yeah, let's look at
free agency. Free agency first, yep. I guess. Free agent. Yeah, maybe we'll
franchise tag. Yeah, franchise tag started 17th, so that's happening now through the 3rd. So now you'll start to hear these names, and you know, there's Pickens. Are they going to tag him? Those kinds of things. Kenneth Walker. What are they going to do? Re-sign him or tag him? And so there's that. So Rick, I did want to mention one thing before I let you go. Coming on. I saw AB's tweet over one of my dear friends we lost. Lee Luther Jr. was a photographer that did freelance photography all over the state. He was recognized by the state as one of the best photographers, and I don't know what the terminology is. He did photos in my hometown. He started at Amherst. He was when we won our World Series in '79, all my high school years, all the pictures that I have, all of us have, that are in our yearbooks and was in the papers in Lynchburg and in the Amherst paper, it was Lee Luther Jr. He became huge. The picture of Beamer when they won the championship on someone's shoulders. You remember
was that him? Yeah.
That was him. That was him. We lost him a couple weeks ago, and AB knew him pretty well. I heard Andy talk about him, and I just want to let you know what he meant to us as a family. He was an outstanding man. He passed away at 70, and so I want all listeners and viewers to know that if you look up Lee Luther Jr. and look at some of his work, man, he was a crazy guy. He was a fun guy. And my cousin and him did photos together. My cousin Malcolm Johnson. So we want to shout out my guy Lee Luther, man, giving him his flowers. He was outstanding, and he did a lot of stuff at Virginia Tech and at UVA and high school sports all around. So shout out today. My hit today is dedicated to my guy Lee.
All right, and I'll ask AB about it right now. So that'll be great. You
got it, brother. You got it.
All right, brother.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. Good to see you, man.
Next Thursday, we'll do it again.
We'll do it again. All right, brother. Have a good weekend.
And good luck tonight. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, man. Take care. Good to see you.
Yes, sir.
All right, David Smith. Great stuff from him as always. Best NFL analyst you're going to find. I don't care. Go watch a network and then go watch David Smith on this program and then tell me who's better. That's all. Tell me who's better. He is. I'm just going to answer it for you. He is David Smith. Right to the point. He does all of his research. He has all of his facts. He has well-based takes on everything. No hyperbole, not trying to say things outstanding to make people mad, not just trying to get ratings, not being blah, blah. Yeah, I know Monken was he was a good offensive coordinator at Georgia. But he also had the best players in the country. He doesn't have the best players in the NFL. So we'll see. We'll see indeed. And that's the thing about it. We speculate about these coaching hires. Some work out. Many do not. And usually it's some who work out that we didn't think were going to be good. Tebow, let me ask you. You're a diehard Philly fan. Did you see your guy being what he became? Right? I mean, I know he's a little quirky, but he's had success, obviously. So sometimes it works out and you don't think. We're rolling along here. as we go from David Smith to that man. He is Andy Bitter, the lead writer for Tech Sideline. What's up, AB? Good to see you, man.
Not much. How you doing?
Doing okay. Hey, David just mentioned he saw your tweet, and I know it meant a lot to you, but we lost Lee Luther, the photographer. And can you talk about your relationship with Lee? And I didn't realize, Dave was just talking about all the things that we've seen that Lee was actually responsible for over the years.
Yeah, I've known Lee, 20 years, going back to Lynchburg News and Advance. He was the Amherst photographer out there, and he would shoot a lot of Lynchburg stuff. Did a ton of Lynchburg Hillcats. His wife Shirley is huge Lynchburg Hillcats fan. She's always in the front row and doing all sorts of, she traveled. She'd go to Salem games and all sorts of stuff and really loved it. Lee just loved shooting those games. Like some of the other photographers there, you give them the assignment for the Hillcats, they'd be like, oh, gotta go out there. And Lee was like, yes, I love this stuff. And he gets to go out there. Shot a bunch of UVA, Virginia Tech games over the years. Just a good dude. He was just the nicest guy you'll ever meet. And like I said, it was never a chore to do that stuff. Yeah. It was always like, oh man, I get to do this. Like, thank you for the opportunity. I always would see him and he'd give his best to my family. Like, say hi to Annie Fanny for me, for my wife. Like, I mean, just like the nicest guy you'll ever meet. So really sad. I know he had some health issues over the years, but when you hear it all the time, you'll not hear a nicer person. It's absolutely true with Lee.
That's
great.
He's
one of the nicest people ever, and just incredibly sad to hear of his passing.
And Dave was talking about that one picture of when Virginia Tech won the championship, the picture of Beamer, that was him, and I don't realize that, it's great. That's great stuff.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's the other part. He was a phenomenal photographer. All sorts of photos, but sports especially, he just had a knack for it. And I think that was driven from the fact that he loved to be there. Every single second he was there, he was enjoying it, and doing really good work when he was there. So just an impressive guy, impressive human, and a pretty big loss.
Well, it was a great tribute that you paid to him. Yeah, it is a big loss. We have some great photographers throughout the state, but his legacy will never, ever go away. So that's cool. That's cool. Well, we don't have a lot of football news to talk about.
No.
But I want to ask you, because I'm getting asked, and my answer is probably not what people wanted to hear. I don't think anything will happen. What's your take about what's going on with Tech basketball? I know I saw you putting some tweets out. Disappointing season. I know they've been injured, but they've had some results that kind of make your head scratch. It hasn't worked out with Avodalis the way they had hoped in terms of what he was going to bring. When you look at that, people are asking me if there should be a change. I'm saying I don't think there will be. I don't see that happening, at least for another year. What's your take as you observe this, watching Tech basketball kind of struggle?
Yeah, I think they're going to look back at this season. If they don't make the tournament, they're just going to be kicking themselves. Because, it's not like it's one or two games that slipped away from them in the final minutes. It's four of them in ACC play. How many of those are quad ones? Miami on the road, SMU on the road. I forget the exact definition of quad one these days. So perhaps other ones could have qualified as well. But every game counts when you're on the bubble like the Hokies are. And I think, preseason expectations, if you would have said they were right on the cusp of the NCAA tournament, I think that would have been about expected. They were picked 11th or whatever it was, I think, in the ACC. So it's not like anybody outside of Virginia Tech had necessarily high expectations about this team, but the way they started, the game Neo had in his second game where he just couldn't miss. And you're like, this guy looks like Luka Doncic out there. Like, we were all thinking it at the time, and he's never really approached that since then. The injuries are one thing, but I don't think Tyler Johnson missing this much time is like, LeBron James hasn't been out of the lineup for the Hokies this entire time. I don't think you can point to that and be like, well, they should be a tournament team because he's missed this stuff. No. Just recently these opportunities get blown out at home by Florida State right after you played a great game against Clemson. You play one of your worst games against Florida State.
Right.
Have Miami on the road right where you want them. lose at the end. Last second shot that doesn't go in. There's just going to be so many things that if they're one of the first 4 out or the first 8 out of the tournament, they know exactly where it got away from them. All these winnable games. I mean, SMU hits a half-court running shot at the buzzer to win after Virginia Tech was up, 4 with 7 seconds left and the ball.
Right.
That's almost impossible to lose that game. So when you look back, they had it. They had the tournament in their grasp, and if they don't make it, it's going to be a pretty big disappointment.
Yeah, when Mike was on this program, he said that. So, I mean, it's going to weigh heavy on him too. He was talking about how we're not worried about trying to get better right now. We need to win these games in November because we're going to need them in February. And sure enough, it's proven to be exactly what he thought. So it's interesting. It's very, very interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, the opportunity is still there, but they have to do some extraordinary things. They have to win at Carolina or UVA. I mean, these are, really tough venues to win. Maybe Carolina a little bit best. That player injury right now. They didn't look so hot the other night at NC State. But still, that's a place they don't typically play well historically. UVA's rolling right now to play on the road against them right now. I think is a pretty tall task. And then there's always the daunting Boston College game that can trip them up every time they seem to play Boston College when it counts. But I don't know. I mean, or they could do something special in the tournament. I mean, if they don't go on that streak, however many years ago it is, that they never make the tournament. They wouldn't have made it that
That's
year.
right.
So
that's right.
Do you have to win it this year to get in it? I don't know. Do you have to go pretty far in it? There's some opportunities for some more wins there. So I don't want to bury them yet because they have games and opportunities they could do it. But, oh, man, it's going to be a frustrating one if they don't get there because it was right there, right in their grasp. They couldn't do it.
So I want to ask you about the dreaded 2014 playoff the Big Ten keeps putting out there.
So bad.
Much like what we're going to see, unfortunately, with the NCAA basketball tournament, they're going to expand probably next year. I hate it. It's disgusting. It's perfect. But 24 teams, and they're trying to push this out. Hey, this is what it would look like. And then you see some of the matchups. 16 seems like the cap that makes sense to me if it's going to go that far. 24 just seems like another money grab. How do you break this thing down, and what's going on in their minds? Money? It's got to be money.
It's money. It's opportunities. I think the Big Ten sees the SEC gets so many bids right now, and the Big Ten has actually fared better than the SEC.
Yeah.
This tournament has expanded. So I think the Big Ten just thinks, hey, if we can get more teams in, we can prove that we're the better conference. I feel like, you always hear people say you don't want to devalue the regular season, right? That's one thing that makes college football special.
Yeah.
And I think that's true to a degree. I never bought the argument when it was 4 teams or 2 teams. Like, I just never thought the season is so short that you can't decide all the stuff you need to decide to cram it down to 4 or 2 teams. And I thought that was true with the BCS, all these people pining for the BCS. Like, forget it. You remember how bad that was?
No.
When they had to adjust the formula every single year. Because the matchup was wrong. And they're like, well, we'll adjust the formula. It's like, if you just keep adjusting the formula, just use a human panel. Like, don't just because a computer spits it out doesn't make it more official. Just put in who you need to put in based on the criteria you see.
Right.
Going to 4 teams, I didn't think was enough because at the time you have 5 power conferences and you have Notre Dame.
Right.
So somebody's always going to be left out that should have been in. I thought 8 would have been enough. They went to 12 and I'm like, okay, that seems like a bit much. And now I've seen the 12 team playoff in action and it's great. Right? Who hasn't loved the playoff these last couple of years? The games have been great. The drama has been great. We've decided things on the field that haven't been decided on the field in the past. And yet it keeps the regular season meaning something. If you lose 3 games, you're not in. Or you run the risk of not being in. If you're Alabama, you're in.
Alabama, you're in. Oh, yeah.
But, if you're Texas or you're Vanderbilt, or your UVA at the end of the season and you're playing for a spot in the title game or in the playoff and you lose the title game to Duke, you don't get in. 24 means all these teams are in. 24, I was looking at some of the seeding on this. They had Georgia Tech as the 22 seed in this mock-up that they had. Georgia Tech lost 3 of its final 4 games. We've already decided they're not national championship material. And that's not a slight at Georgia Tech fans. I think Georgia Tech fans would agree. Hey, yeah, we don't deserve a shot at the national title this year, the way they played down the stretch. So why are we giving another opportunity? Why are we doing more play-in games for that, 16 to 24? Like, I think eventually this thing goes to 16.
Yeah, I do too.
Would I be happy with it? No. Could I live with it? Yes. I could live with it if they didn't do something stupid like still give buys to the top seeds. Have you seen some of the mock-ups have like play-in games like 13, 16, 14, 15, and then the 1 seeds 1 and 2 still get buys. It's like, how can you screw up a 16-team playoff?
I know. It's already laid out.
It's plain as day how you would do it. You would just do 16 teams, single elimination, and it's perfect. And they're still going to screw it up. So, yeah, I don't know who these people are that are running the Big Ten, but they don't have the sports best interest in mind. And I think it's a stupid proposal that's like, I can't believe they're like college football writers are like, actually, when you take a look at it, it makes sense. It's like, you cannot be serious. Are you getting paid by the Big Ten? I don't get it. And if so, like, listen, I'll be a paid shill. Throw some of that money my way as long as it's the right amount. But I just don't get it. I don't understand how anybody could like this thing.
No, I'm with you 100%. I just feel like it's got to be a money grab. It's like you said, it's the Big Ten trying to get up there and say, hey, we deserve this many berths as well. But if you have a 3 or 4 loss team, didn't I see, was it you or somebody said one year, was it Pitt would have been in there or something? Like
there was a previous one they had where Pitt would have gotten as like a 23 seed. Pitt lost by like 80 to Notre Dame. What are we doing? Why are we playing? Why?
Right.
It's adding more games to the end of the year that I think are meaningless games. And, I've said this a couple times. I tick people off when I say this. I don't think JMU should have been in the playoff this year. I know, contractually, the way things broke down, they got in, but that was a game that was a pointless game to play in the playoff. They got on the field at Oregon, and Oregon ran them off the field by, 50 points or whatever. I mean, I know they tightened up the score at the end, but it was over. I turned it off in the second quarter. It was not an interesting game to me. So I think once you're getting to the point where, and I think JMU was ranked what 23rd, 24th, and they got in. They got in because of the ACC's shenanigans with their tiebreaker.
Correct.
And, putting 5 lost Duke in the title game. And ideally, the ACC would fix that in the future. And I think they've altered the rules anyway, so that the ACC gets an automatic bid, which I don't know if it deserves an automatic bid. I think it should be like top 16 protected or something like that if you truly want to get a field of teams that can win the national championship. But I don't think expanding it to include these teams enhances the postseason. I think it just lengthens it, and it doesn't add teams that truly can win the title.
Have they announced? I know Jim Phillips said they were going to look at the tiebreak. Have they announced anything about how they're going to adjust it? Did I miss that?
I haven't seen anything. Okay. Perhaps I've missed it too. I know they said they were going to fix it. I mean, the easiest thing is if it goes to a tiebreak, and they might have to do this anyway because every team plays a different number of games next year. Or a couple teams play a different number of games because there's some with 8, there's some with 9 as they go to this screwy setup with the ACC schedule and how they're going to do it. You can't really directly compare records and just go head to head and say, oh, they had this record versus this. It's like, it's not the same. You could have 2 1-loss teams, one's 8-1 and one's 7-1.
Yeah.
Well, who's the better team there? The Mountain West, I think it was last year, had like a ranking system. They went by, it was like the SRS rankings, the SP Plus. There were like 4 different rankings that they pulled from. And if there's a tiebreaker, they just chose the best of the 4. And that's the one that got in because they can't wait for the rankings to come out.
Right.
Those don't come out until like Tuesday. So they just picked the best of the 4, and that's how they did it. And that's how they put the best foot forward. And last year it would have been Miami, Virginia, which would have been the right championship game. And then, the winner of that gets in. You don't have any problems with the loser, or, Duke knocking the ACC out or whatever.
I like that. Hearing about the Mountain West. That makes sense. Tebow wanted me to ask you, AB, going back to basketball. Are you putting the close losses on poor coaching, players, not smart enough, or both?
I mean, it's all the above. You don't lose game. You don't lose that SMU game without everybody contributing in some way.
That's true.
This Miami game, like it looked like Toby Lawal like hedged on a guy thinking they had a foul to give at the end.
It
right?
did.
And
it
he
did.
came up and he looked like he fouled him intentionally.
He went after him. I know.
So is that on Lawal for not understanding the situation? Is that on the coaches for not telling him in the huddle or telling him forcefully enough in the huddle? Sometimes somebody might tell him, but it doesn't register. I don't think you lose these games just based on one factor. I think it's all sorts of things, and you miss free throws. You can't really put that on the coaches, right? You got to make some free throws at the end of the game, and you wouldn't have some of these problems. Some of it's just bad luck. That SMU loss, the guy was pretty well defended, running down the left side of the court. He's right-handed, running on the left side of the court. And he hits a run. He hadn't hit a 3-pointer all game, and he drills this 3-point. I mean, you can't write it any worse than that. It's just a marriage of all these things, and it's been the perfect storm this year for them.
One more. People saying they heard rumors about the Big 12 potentially down the road in the ACC joining up if the ACC loses some schools. Have you heard any traction regarding any of that?
Yeah, I always hear these, so-called alliances, and they never.
The alliance.
The Big 10, Pac-12, ACC, whatever that alliance was at one point.
Yeah.
That never materialized, never meant anything. So, I think maybe out of necessity, if the ACC loses some teams, that it would sort of, become the leftover conference of this island of misfit toys that nobody wants from the power schools. I think that'd be wise to combine your forces at that point. But I think right now they're still too focused on, hey, we're still surviving and we're the best.
Yeah,
we're gonna be the number 3 conference here. And honestly, right. Football wise, I think the ACC is better than the Big 12. And I don't know why the Big 12 always gets more credit. I think the ACC has just been a running joke for long enough that people are like, oh, there's the ACC again. But I think the top ACC teams, when they're good, are better than the top of the Big 12, which is really what you're judging by. Nobody judges conferences by, how who's at the bottom of how Florida State right now in the ACC, but how Boston College does versus. That's the thing with the Big 12. The bottom isn't quite as bad. I think West Virginia was down there, but obviously coaching changed and everything. So if you're comparing top to bottom, Big 12 is maybe a better conference, but at the very top, the ACC has the better chance to reach a peak, as you saw with Miami last year, Clemson in the past. Yeah. Who's the best in the Big 12? Texas Tech right now.
Right. Yeah.
But they haven't been.
No.
Iowa State's pretty solid, but it's not Oklahoma, Texas like it used to be. So
no.
I don't know why. I don't know why the ACC always gets dragged through the mud when the Big 12 gets a pass. But yes, I think at some point if Miami or Clemson or Florida State or North Carolina, whoever would leave the ACC, if it's diminished enough that you go, we got to combine our forces here to put the best product together. Hey, I proposed this once long ago. Like have a 30 some team league and then just do promotion relegation, have like a top division and put your best foot forward with your best teams. Will it ever get to that? No, I don't think we'll ever promotion relegation system in college football, even though it'd be awesome. But think outside the box, because at that point you're just sort of, trying to stave off, devastation there before you just fall apart.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. We don't have enough smart people in college athletics to do something creative. We just don't.
Well, there's nobody in charge. Well, to do something creative. Big 12 has a 2014 playoff.
No, that's right.
Crap it all over it.
Well, great stuff, man. Thanks for taking the time to answer some questions, and we'll see how things play out. And we get closer to March. All of a sudden, we'll get some football trickling news heading into spring.
Hopefully,
so,
yeah.
Hopefully,
sometime soon. Something to tide us over for a while.
Exactly. All right, brother. Have a great weekend, man.
All right, you too.
Thanks, AB. Good man. Good stuff from Andy Bitter as always. Andy's great. Tebow, I think something like that may happen. I haven't talked to Big Ten guy in a while. I'll have to ask him. He knows stuff like that. But I do believe the ACC is going to get stripped pretty badly, and so they're going to have no choice. And Andy Point is right. Now, Texas Tech's the top of the league in the Big 12 because they're spending all this money. Heck, they're putting out $60 million on our football roster. They did make the playoff. Didn't win it, but they did make it. They did make it. So we'll give them that. We'll give them that. Still getting reaction over the interview yesterday with Lauren and Paige. Thank you. On our professional door text line. Appreciate that a whole lot. Thanks to all of our great sponsors, Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, the NRV Super Bowl, Brandon at Top Shelf Apparel, Bob Christ and the Ready Set Fund, Travis Williams, Professional Door Incorporated, Alex Guerra going to join us here in just a little bit, the head baseball coach at Radford. Of course, Professional Door, sponsor of our text line, National Bank, member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of this program, the attorney Ryan Pry in Radford with our fan question of the week. People have gotten frustrated. The question was centered around Tech basketball. How many more wins would they get? Well, we asked that before the Miami game, and now I'm getting 0. People are bitter. Pulaski County Sports Entertainment is the presenting sponsor of this program. Family Fencing, our studio sponsor, and McClellan Chiropractic. So we got a lot of good stuff, a lot of great partners, and we could always use more. So hit me up. Everybody I've just mentioned has gotten some financial benefit in terms of customers and business because of this new format. So I thank everybody for that. And many of it's come from you in chat who watch the program. So thank you. Please continue to spread the word. We're under 200 to get to 1,000, and 1,000 is the magical note, and I can get YouTube off my rear end. So help us out, and good stuff all the way around. Thanks, David. That's great. Lee Luther was the cameraman, or was the camera, and Damian Sordelette with words helped document the 3 state title runs in Alta Vista. Lee was a true preserver of sports history in the Lynchburg area. That's awesome. Awesome. BDST legal counsel Richie Davis. Lamar's best years were with Todd Monken. Yeah, and then they had a bad separation. Don't know what, you never know what goes on there in the personal relationship. That's right. We got 2 Eagles fans. So we got Ryan Pry and Tebow for the Birds. But I hate to say it, but I mean, obviously Harbaugh is the best one. And the Falcons did well, but Clint Kubiak paired up with Fernando Mendoza in Las Vegas. Ooh. That division's going to be, it's murder's row. Because a lot of people are acting like it's not going to work, but I think Mendoza is going to be the epitome of a franchise quarterback. Could be wrong, but right now, what part of him and his game do you think won't translate to the NFL? He's athletic. He showed that on that career, just his whole career defined on that late touchdown run. He's always tough in the pocket. He takes a hit. He's got a strong arm. He's got an accurate arm. He's perfected the back shoulder throw. He's smart. He's got a great personality. He's going to sell merch. He's going to be the face of that franchise as soon as they hand the card up there on draft day. And he got better every year with not highly rated talent around him, and he won a natty. So I don't know how you could draft a quarterback with more momentum heading into his favor with his best football still ahead of him than the Raiders getting Fernando Mendoza. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong. But on paper and on tape, this looks like this is going to be an absolute slam dunk especially pairing him with Clint Kubiak, whose reputation has absolutely soared the last couple of years in Seattle. So much so, he's now the head coach of the Raiders. He does, Prometheus. He's got that back shoulder throw better, and he anticipates receivers breaking open. That's something they were showing on a lot of his highlights, man. The comeback that they made against Penn State that last drive, which was also a career-defining moment, which is incredible, in the rain. He was leading receivers to the open spots and just trusting that, knowing that if one mistake, one ball gets picked, somebody makes a read, the game's over. He was trusting, and then the ball he threw in the back of the end zone. We knew he was getting really good, and that was his arrival point. And then what happened? He just kept ascending. He just kept ascending. And now the Raiders have a shot to change it all around just like that. And you watch the NFL, what David talked about, right? Look how quickly you can go from the non-playoff team, a losing organization, to one who can go to the playoffs very, very quickly. And if the Raiders do other things right, they need some help at wide receiver. He's already got the running back. He's got the best young tight end in the league. This kind of thing happens all the time in the league. That's designed for parity. And the Raiders seem to finally be on the right track. So Al Davis would be so excited to have this kid, wouldn't he? Wouldn't he? So we'll see. We shall see how it all plays out. Alex Guerra scheduled to join us next, the head baseball coach at Radford University. They're hosting another weekend series coming up. We'll talk about that. College baseball rolling along now in week number 2 across the nation. Last weekend was the opening weekend. Everybody got through their midweeks, and now here's the second weekend. Warmer weather is accommodating, so that's really good to have. And I'm down for some college baseball. I know spring training starts tomorrow in Major League Baseball, but when you see some of the comments of the players who seem to act like a salary cap, I've seen these, and obviously this is, we talked about these schools opening their books, trying to kind of get the public sentiment on their side. Baseball players are all saying how bad the salary cap would be for baseball. Of course they are, because they've been the beneficiary. Lines are being drawn now before we head into spring training. Good morning, Robert. How are you? What is going on? Ooh, so he's in Montana. Robert is. He's part of our Montana BDST arm. So now you're getting the weather 4 inches. Yeah, you're getting weather that, because at the time, if I'm not mistaken, Robert, the last time we were freezing and covered in snow, you were like, what, 50 or 60 degrees or something? Now it's switched around. How the turntables, to quote Michael Scott. Robert, when does snow season end for you for good? I'm curious, like in Montana, that whole area there, Idaho, Wyoming, the Dakotas, when does snow I'm sure you get April stuff too, right? June. Wow. Yeah. June. So you might get some in May, what you're telling me. Wow. Just wow. No, thank you. No, thank you. We know we're usually done mid to late April. Now, we've had some April snowstorms. I saw somebody type in that some of the worst snows we've had. And we've gotten some big snows in April. We have. But the good news is when they come in April, they usually go away pretty quickly in April. because the temperature is getting warmer and everything's starting to change. You're 1 degree this morning. Oh, my goodness. Well, bundle up, man. And tell everybody in Montana we said hello, BDST, and tell them to subscribe. We're over 800 now. 1 degree. Did he not? No, I did not notice that, Tebow. Really? I got the fire going. Well, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Thanks, Robert. We appreciate you chiming in, man. That's great. All the way from Montana. That's great. You know, we have 13 countries that have subscribed. Somebody from 13 different countries have subscribed to the show. That's great. The latest of which came from New Zealand. We'll take it. We'll take it. International BDST. Joining us now on the program is that guy. He is the head baseball coach at Radford University, Alex Guerra. What's up,
my man?
How are you, brother?
I'm doing great, Rick. Fighting a little bit of the Cyrus Center internet when it's a little wet.
Oh, I gotcha.
But we're doing well, man. How are you doing?
Doing all right. Well, let's talk about your first week. Terrific start last weekend. I was there opening day. I was excited and got to watch Raymond. You took 2 out of 3 from I don't care where Iona's picked. They look like a pretty good baseball team, but they're going to be pretty good, I think, as their season goes along.
Yeah, they were scrappy.
They were scrappy. They played hard. But you guys got some terrific pitching overall for the weekend. How did the opening weekend go for you? Were you able to kind of utilize and how you foresaw, working guys in as the innings went along the way you wanted?
I was extremely proud of our pitching staff. I thought we threw the ball extremely well.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime you have 20 plus strikeouts to 7 free bases, I mean, it is an absolute dream to sit there as a coach and watch that, knowing that you're not giving up free bases. You're attacking the strike zone. You're challenging hitters. I thought I'd call them our big 6, right? Between Ladd and Quintana on Friday night. That seems like a really nice formula. Daniel's a kid that he was one of the last kids that we committed at JMU before we left, Jimmy and I, or Jimmy Jackson, our pitching coach now in Maryland. So to see him and see his maturity grow over the last 6+ years, transfer from Shepherd, and has become a team captain in the first, 6 months since he's been here, at the end of last semester. He did a tremendous job, and then Millie coming in at the end in the 9th there and closing it out. And then you got Steiny and Nace on Sunday, Costello, with Ludiano traded and throw the ball great there, as well as we would have liked to. But those 6 arms in particular, they can start. They can come in after another guy kind of opens. But extremely, extremely pleased with the way that they threw the baseball.
Yeah. You mentioned Quintana. Is that kind of the situation? You like him in that long relief role? But like you said, I mean, he could easily step in and be a starter because he looked like to me he was just throwing 5 innings pretty easily for you.
Yeah, look. So when we were looking at this thing, we thought we had 6, 7 legitimate guys that can start for us on the weekends. And that's not including some of the guys that we can put in during the midweek, but. In order to be able to kind of maximize the usage for these players, to kind of split the game and kind of back up a guy that we feel like would be a different look based on their stuff. So for an example, like a Steiny, he's a guy that's got a lot of movement on his fastball. He's got a lot of ride. He's got the ball's going in these 2 different directions, and then you come in and he's got velocity in the in the 92 to 95, 96. He was touching 94 in February last weekend. I got it. And there's a pretty good chance he's going to be running those numbers up there pretty high this year. So, and then you bring in Brecken, 10 to 12 mile-an-hour difference.
Right.
Now it's going this way. this way, right? So just to mix up the different looks and to try to maximize our guys' stuff back there. Look, at the end of the day, like it's going to be, I'm knocking on wood now, right? But I truly believe it's going to be a really fun year to watch our pitching staff. We've got a lot of different options. We've got a lot of different guys that we can go to. I think you saw it again on Tuesday, you know, with Phoebes going up there, starting 3 innings, you know, against Queens, and then bringing in some new guys with Eli Baker and Parker Noonan, 2 young freshmen that are going to be awesome. And then, you know, Will Palmer having an opportunity to come in there, transfer from Campbell, lefty who's got electric stuff, and he just kind of hasn't put it all together yet, but he's been in a really good situation, you know, with us, and it seems like he's found his comfort zone a little bit. So pitching wise, I've been just extremely pleased the way we've been attacking our preseason. You know, CB, Coach Bourne, he's done an unbelievable job, you know, building this pitching staff over the last, you know, handful of years. And it's nice to see all the hard work that they've been putting in, along with Scott Rouse. They've been doing a great job with those players. So I'm excited about where we're going to go as a pitching staff this year for sure.
Well, and I know you were, everybody, watching Raymond Ladd very, very closely. 2 innings, I'm sure, was the plan all along, coming off surgery. He's such an intimidating figure out there at 6'6". It looked like to me, you know, from my novice eyes from the press box, that he got through that okay. Did you see everything you wanted to see? And you know now he's well on the way to getting back to full strength. I thought he looked terrific.
You look great.
Yeah.
He looked great. You know, it was awesome because when he got hurt, he set a goal for himself. Like, I want to be back and pitching on Friday night next year. And about a month ago or so, I would say it was kind of 4 to 6 weeks. You know, he had a little bit of a setback that, in my mind, it was going to be one of those things where, okay, it's going to be cold. Let's push this thing back to March 1st. Let's not, you know, push the envelope. And man, I'll tell you what, he refused to accept that. Just continued to push through with his rehab. But yes, you know, I thought that he got a little bit winded, I would say, earlier than I thought. I think he probably would have liked to have gone one more inning based on his body language and his competitiveness. But you know, it's our job as the adults to protect him, and wanted to get him out of there on a positive note. You know, I felt like it was he was at that perfect spot. In fact, to be honest, thank God for Mason Self stepping up and kind of bridging that 1 inning in between him and Quintana, because there was probably a slight miscommunication between the dugout and the bullpen. First time that's really happened, where they thought he was going in this inning. So we took him out an inning earlier. So Mason stepped up, went out there, and
he did through
like,
perfect inning.
Yeah, he's staying loud at it, Rick. I got it. Just give me the ball.
Just give me the ball. Give me the ball. I'm good.
Meanwhile, I'm in there like panicking, like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. Like, we're putting a kid on the mound who's like barely played catch, but that's just, you know, Mason did an awesome job with that. So
he did.
But yeah, it's awesome to see Big Ray back out there. You know, he's been a kid that we've spoken about this many times. He's been just the poster child for this program and what we want. Great, the way you go about your business on and off the field. Like, there's, name me a person that doesn't say enough, like not good things about Raymond Ladd, like wonderful, great things about him. And that's how you're crazy, right? So
no, it's true. Well, you got through. It's not ideal to have to play a doubleheader first weekend, but the weather Sunday was terrible. It's going to be terrible again this week. So you're having to do it again. How did you feel like that? Because all of a sudden you have this new challenge, and Iona had to go through it too. Oh man, we have to figure this out because first weekend we have to play back-to-back 9-inning games. That's never ideal, and you have to do it again this weekend.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but it's, you know, it's one of the foundations of our program. You know, being blue collar, you know, finding a way to get the job done regardless of the circumstances in front of us. I will say, being out there in a doubleheader in a situation where we have not been on the field at all. Yeah, it was, you know, you can say excuses all you want, but straight up from a just body perspective. Yeah. And I think you saw that a little bit. Like, unfortunately, Hunter King kind of tweaked his hamstring a little bit. He's going to be fine. He's doing a wonderful job right now of being, you know, I don't want to say annoying is the right word, but in the dugout, just walking around like a kid with like just kid is like lost his dog, like trying to find what to do. He's like, I'm not doing a damn chart. I'll tell you that right now. Right. But he's been a great teammate, a great leader. And, he's been an awesome vibe for the guys. He'll be fine. But yeah, I think that is a little bit of a challenge, managing their workload, managing what you want to do in practice early on. We've been inside for a month, and now we're out here and we're competing and we're playing games and now we're practicing outside. It's also extremely important for us as a coaching staff to make sure that what we're doing in practice is important, right? Because it's a fine line right now, and it's a balance between getting their bodies going, getting them moving, like getting them into baseball shape, and then also protecting them because we got to go out there and play, and we got to go. So that's been a little bit of a new challenge for us to kind of figure out, manage. But because, with Schiff and Jen, as our support staff, they've done a tremendous job of helping us and assisting us with that. So, Bucknell's is their quality team. They're from the Patriot League, and they're going to come out here and they're going to play hard. I mean, they beat Pitt last year. They beat Virginia Tech. They took 2 out of 4 from FIU. So they've got 6 starters back, 2 of their top arms. We've got to be ready to go 100%. Like we can't have any type of complacency or entitlement to think that we're going to win just because we're hosting a Northeast team. And no, that's not the way this thing works, man.
Yeah, right.
We've got to be humble. We've got to be hungry. I think offensively we've got to get a lot better. I've been pleased with how we've been resilient and tough and stepped up and been clutch in big moments. But as far as an execution standpoint overall, and the flow of the at bats and the execution to our process and from at bat to at bat and the consistency, I can't sit here and tell you that I am. And this is a group it's a very talented group.
Oh, yeah.
And it's time for this group to be able to embrace being challenged and holding themselves and being held by their coaches to a really high standard. Striking out double-digit times in a game is unacceptable for this group, right? And I think we're finally at a point now, Rick, where we have a group of guys from a toughness, culture, skill level standpoint overall in totality, where after a victory we can go out there and I can challenge them a little bit. Great job, we won. Proud of you guys. We got to get a lot better. We got to get a lot better. If we have this goal in mind of being a champion and seeing your name come across ESPN and a regional, the quality and the brand of that we've played up to this point, it's got to get better. And you can't sit there and say like, it's because we've been inside. Like BS. Those are excuses, right? We've got to understand what we need to attack and how we need to get better as a team and individually, and not be satisfied with just winning. I mean, you can't accept in victory what you would accept and what you wouldn't accept in defeat.
Right. That's a great point you make, and I hope people listen to that, because you're at a point now where you can do that. You couldn't do that. You haven't been able to do that. You haven't been able to say, we won, but you guys, this wasn't good enough, right? Because you kind of walk, okay, is this going to be too fragile for them? Now, like you said, these guys have that maturity. The expectation is there, and that shows you the development of your program. And that's a very important thing, not just in baseball, but any sport, that you can go and have that honest conversation, man. That's huge, and that's a great sign that they understand.
100%. 100%. I was really pleased with the way they received the message. I felt like it was, you can tell as a coach, I've been there plenty of times. When you're talking to a group and you're like, okay, I should probably shut up now. As an assistant coach, like you kind of get long-winded and or even as a head coach, but like I felt like when I was speaking, I can really feel their eyes. I can feel where their heart was. I can feel like they're really absorbing the message. And I think it was reflective of that way at practice yesterday, and they understand. I think they understand it. Now it's about going out there and executing it, right? Like there's an expectation level for this program, and how we play and how we go about our business. And there's an expectation level for us to win and win at a high level. And
right.
Getting 40 player staff and et cetera to be on the same page with that. It's an everyday year-to-year challenge, right? So I'm not gonna stop that. And
no,
I think we're gonna continue to get the right people on board. So I'm excited for the year.
And tomorrow, folks, as Coach mentioned, don't forget, it's now Friday, single game, 3:00, Bucknell, the Bison come in, and then it's a doubleheader Saturday starting at noon, and then about, half hour, 45 minutes, whatever you decided in between games on Saturday.
45 minutes, I would say.
45 minutes or so. Okay. So, look, come on out.
It's a great group for everybody listening. It's an awesome group to watch. They're a great group of kids, and they're talented, and I get it. We got to win. Everybody wants to come out and watch a winning product, but I truly believe this is a team that you can really get behind and get excited for. And obviously, it's free.
Yeah,
don't have to worry about paying any money.
Beautiful ballpark. Beautiful ballpark.
Our marketing team. Huge shout out to our marketing team, Rick.
Yeah, Leslie.
Leslie.
I told Corey you got to hire Leslie. I worked with her for the Yankees. She's been in baseball her whole professional life. It was a no-brainer.
I got 3 different people text me, email me. That was the best music and vibe. And as a coaching staff, we were saying it. We're like, all of a sudden she started playing music after a foul ball, and I was at third base, and I whipped my head up, and I went.
Yeah, it makes a big difference, doesn't it?
It's a huge difference.
People don't. Yeah.
Awesome. So the vibe, the energy's there.
It was cool. It was cool.
A huge shout out to Leslie and the
she's great
team staff. They did a great
Leslie
job.
Martin.
Notice Leslie Martin, yes, new to our staff. So, but yeah, man, I appreciate you as always.
She's great. Now, thank you, man. Best of luck this weekend, and the winning's going to happen, brother. It's happening. This group's special. You can just see it. You can see it the first day. I was up there with Robert going. You can just see it. I mean, I know it's the first game, but there's just a different thing around this squad, and it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be a lot of fun.
If I may, real quick, I just would like to ask thinking about this morning. So in New York, growing up, I used to listen to WFAN.
The Fan,
660. There were no TVs allowed in our rooms, so I couldn't watch TV to go to sleep. So I need some type of noise, right? So it was sports radio. And now that I get a chance to be on a weekly sports talk radio with my man Rick, like this is like a dream.
I appreciate that.
This is awesome. So I appreciate you having me on here.
It's great, man. We're going to do it all year. We're chronicling the whole season, and we can do whatever you want to do. Players can join at times. I'd love to have some of the guys on. Let fans get to meet these guys, and see the kind of people we're telling them about. Because you have a casual run-in with them, you can just tell. It's just like these are terrific people. And they're not even. It's just who they are. So
yeah, they're great. They're an awesome group.
Yeah, they're an awesome group. Yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff. Well, go get them tomorrow, man. I'll come out there for a little while. Unfortunately, I'll be traveling Saturday, so I won't be out there on Saturday. But get off to a good start tomorrow. I know you will. Raymond, good to go tomorrow? Is he gonna get?
Yep.
All right. Good to
go. Probably, I'd like to try to get him through 4 if we can, at least through 3, depending on his pitch count.
Right.
Before just managing, the up and down 4 times. I think that's another piece to it. But he'll be ready to rock.
You'll be ready to go. All right, man. And I know you guys will. Appreciate you, brother. Have a good final day of preparation, man.
All right, Rick. Thanks, man.
All right, man. Have a good weekend. Take care.
You too.
There you go.
Bye-bye.
Alex Guerra, head baseball coach at Radford. And we're going to chronicle the season all year long. Alex is great, and we'll get insight. He won't pull any punches, man. If he tells you, he'll tell you exactly the way he feels. You don't get a lot of coach speak, which I love. You get honesty. And we're going to introduce you to some of these guys. Come out to Williamsville. It's free. And if you sit in Radford's baseball stadium, especially if you come out when it's warm and say a weekend series, once we get into Big South play, come out in the evening at 6 when the days are longer, and you're sitting there and you see that sun start to set. You look over and you see the green, the trees over the river, and that little breeze that comes in. You're going to go, wow, this is pretty cathartic. It's a great atmosphere. So come out, and if you come out, stick your head in the press box and say hey. But it's going to be a fun year, and they're off to a 3-1 start. Bucknell tomorrow, 3:00, noon and then about 45 minutes. Usually it's about 45 minutes in between on Saturday. So if you're around, come out and support the team. You'll love it. You'll have a great time. Free's the best word in the English language. Dwight Vick's going to join us here coming up in just a little bit. And I got some questions for him, too, about expectations for the football season coming up in Blacksburg. Thanks to Family Fencing, sponsor of our studio. Get a free quote today, 540-200-8294. McClellan Chiropractic. Mark Hundley, sponsor of our chat room, which just explodes. Thank you so much. It's great to spend time with all the peeps in chat. Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment, the presenting sponsor of this program, thanks to Jonathan Sweet and Tim Miller. Charles Lee and Little River Heating and Air. They are the best at what they do. Heating or air. That's why they're Little River Heating and Air. Trust me. Call them. The attorney, Ryan Pry, brings you your BDST fan question of the week. National Bank member FDIC, Lara Ramsey and Company, the exclusive banking partner of this program and my exclusive banking partner. Travis Williams, Professional Door Incorporated, commercial residential garage doors. Nobody does it better than Travis. He's a huge baseball guy. His son plays baseball at Radford High School. Trav, come out and say, hey, man, come out to the stadium. ReadySetFun.com. Bob Christ, the brother of the Hall of Famer, Dave Christ. CRIST11 at Gmail. If you want to raise money for your organization or event, do not hesitate. And if you want a BDST t-shirt, $20 here locally. Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, thanks to James Lawson, 540-381-8011. And thanks to Terry and Amanda at the NRV Super Bowl, 382-5525. Good stuff. Oh, yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to have, I think that's the way I want to do it, Thunder, is to have Alex and a player on at the same time. I think that would be fun. These dudes are awesome. And I just like, I try to go out when they practice and just watch them and interact. They have a natural affinity for one another. Like there's nothing on a sunny day, nothing better. If you're walking it, you're kind of like bogged down with the work day and you need to get out of the office and you know baseball practice is starting. So you go down, just go down the baseball field. They got the music going and guys are out there getting their work in. It's good stuff, man. It's like a Zen moment. Sports chat, great guests. Yes, we have great guests. Balboa Creed and Bigfoot. Yeah, Balboa Creed is he's a special dude. Don't know where he went. At any event, he's the man. Caught another critter yesterday. Couldn't tell what was a mouse or a mole what was left, but he's in rare form. We're just getting started, getting the snow off the ground, and he's the man. He's the man. Tomorrow on the Finally Friday edition, we'll have Jen. She's back. And I'm not sure where we are. I think the saxophone, I'm not going to say for sure, but it may be on for tomorrow. We'll see. Mike Ashley will be back with us as well. He's feeling much better. He's actually in town tonight. Radford, heavy favorites against Gardner-Webb, who's only won 3 games all year. Radford Hoops, come out to Dedmon, or you can watch us on ESPN+. Listen to us on the radio, myself and Cole Wilder. Should be okay tonight. But that's why you play the games, right? But at home, team that's really struggling. And then a short turnaround time because you have to go. Yeah, and I saw you, Chris Martin. Yeah, and well, the women last night had the same situation, yet they lost. Radford was hosting Upstate, who'd only won 8 games, had not been playing well. They came in and led virtually the whole game and beat Radford last night. That was a disappointing result, to say the least, for Mike McGuire's team. Creed is a stealth master. He tries to be. It's fun to watch him out the window when he's trying to get in hover mode. And, you know, you can watch kitties and how they hunt. I'm not sure it's so much they're not seen, but how quick he is. He's got a good burst. In other words, if he was at the NFL scouting combine, he's got a really good burst. And he can jump. He's got some athleticism to him, which is kind of cool. I mean, he can get up there, man. My goal is to one day be able to have the camera going and then like catch him and jump, mid-jump. But the dude's got some hops. Let's put it that way. More than I have, if you're going to go base it on pound for pound. A lot more than I have. But somebody asking me on the chat line, I don't know. What's the weather today? Meteorologist Rick Watson. 50, 58 is the high. Rain throughout the morning. We're going to have some off and on rain showers throughout the morning. It should clear off, though, for the afternoon. It's going to be mostly overcast, but the temperatures will stay fairly comfortable in your mid to upper 50s. But maybe go out early today, take your rain jacket, your galoshes, but for the rest of the day, you're going to be fine. And then we're going to settle in for pretty dry Friday and Saturday. But then on Sunday, it looks like some more clouds are going to come in. We'll update you on the weekend forecast. Sheila, back to you. Sorry. Toughest thing to me about if you're going to be a weatherman, they're pointing at a green screen. Like there's nothing behind them, yet they have to just look and see what it looks like on the camera. I would have it. I got a feeling I'd be pointing at the wrong regions. I'd be like, oh, wait a minute. That's not Christiansburg. Oh, I'm pointing toward Lubbock, Texas. But yeah, we'll have Alex and some players on. We'll let him tell me who he'd like to have on. So, but you're gonna like these guys. Trust me. You're gonna like these guys. And I think there's the same vibe with Coach Chef and the Tech program. They got some good dudes on there. I mean, you're playing baseball, man. Baseball's fun. Right? Baseball's just fun. Thanks, Sharon. You're in the wrong profession. Would make a great weatherman. Except I'd be too grumpy and mad during winter. All right, Rick, what do you got for us today? Oh, God. Sheila, I really don't want to talk about it, okay? We're going to get a bad storm. They're calling for a foot of snow. We got a front coming in. It's going to meet the moisture level. Ice, snow, sleet. Nothing's going to be moving. It's going to be a catastrophe. Back to you. That would be my downfall. That would be my downfall as a weatherman. It would. Dwight Vick's going to join us here just a little bit. I'll let him know. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to hide my disdain for bad weather. There he is. There's that gentleman, the owner-founder of Victory Life, former all-commerce performer, the quintessential source for all things Tech football. And I'm just going to tell you right now, Dwight, we've started like a subculture here. People get excited every week for what lid you're going to have on. And you've broken out the, is that the all-white Washington Nationals hat? Oh, we can't hear you. Wonder why we can't hear him. We got the microphone issue again. Want me to send you another invite or? Okay, let me do that. All right. Hat game is strong, by the way. Maybe Mick Cronin could be. Maybe Mick Cronin could be a weatherman. Let's see here. He could hear me, so that wasn't on our end. Sometimes these computers. Remember, it happened yesterday mid-conversation with Lauren Sisler. Her computer just decided to stop working. Said her phone tried to take over. By the way, these things are scary, man. They hear whatever we say, and then you see an ad or something comes up. Well-prepared ribeye steak and potatoes for lunch. I don't know. Maybe I'll come home and we'll be on my front porch. Selma Hayek delivering me medium rare ribeye at lunchtime. Looks like I'm going to have a fun lunchtime. We'll get Dwight back on here in just a little bit. He's going to figure out his microphone. Selma Hayek with bags packed, intending to move to Reiner, bringing me a ribeye steak and potato lunch. Get home for lunch. Hear the doorbell ring. Hello, Rick. Oh, well, hey, it worked. Who knew? Who knew? But yeah, Radford hoops tonight. Highlanders taking on Gardner Webb. Been a tough season for Jeremy Luther's squad, to say the least. All right, here we go. Let's try again with the DV. DV, you got us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, man, we got you.
All right. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what's going on, man.
It's okay.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, I had to switch whatever app and device I'm using. So I don't know, man. But yeah, I got the all white Washington Nationals hat on.
That's nice. How many hats do you have, by the way?
I got about 50, maybe
about 50?
more.
Okay,
That's
more. Cool. Yeah.
I just threw out some last week. Some old ones I had.
Yeah, I had two too.
Yeah, I was like, I don't wear, just hats I had, but I save a few every now and then because when my wife needs to run out and run out real quick, or her hair's not done, she always grabs a baseball cap. But I've been with her since I was running the steps of Lane Stadium, so she's been doing it since then. But I told her then, but I had to adjust. She didn't adjust. I said, hey, listen, there's certain hats you can touch, man. There's certain hats you can touch, and there's certain hats. I mean, I got my ones that's all-time legendary ones, and ones I just love to death that I wear all just sometimes. And she grabbed a real nice hat one time. It was raining or something. I said, hey. She was like, it's just a hat. I said, see, now you about to cause a divorce.
You touch my hat.
You know
what did you expect? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you don't touch my hat. You don't touch my drum set. From Step
yeah,
Brothers.
did you touch my drum set?
Yeah.
So is it, let me ask you this. Is it unfair, or I won't say unfair, is it unrealistic to expect a certain amount of wins in year one for James Franklin, considering we think he's got some pretty good players coming in. They look the part. We've had Coach Elmo tell us what he thinks. We don't know how it's going to come together. We don't know what the rest of the league is going to look like. Is it unfair to say that if this isn't a 7, 8, or 9-win season, that it was a bust? I mean, how do you look at this first season for James Franklin? And should we even bother setting a win total for him in year one?
I think it's unfair, but I think it's going to happen. I think it's unfair, but I think it's going to happen anyway. I think the ACC is very winnable, so I know a strong contingency of the fan base are going to say, with that schedule or with that, he should be able to win this many games, right? I think it's okay. I mean, not we all, but many of us look at schedules when it comes out, which it already has, and then as we get closer to August, and once August comes, we start saying, okay, this kid transferred, or this guy rumors are he looked good in the spring, or they got the receivers. Because what we do as fans, we rationalize the talent, and we say there's no way that with the running backs and line they have, they shouldn't be doing A, B, and C, which many times fans have good insight and good points. I just think we don't know what kind of Franklin we're getting for Virginia Tech. Historically, he's a winner. But it's just like everything he's done before has to be proven at Virginia Tech, which is why I think you're going to get a very motivated staff and a motivated group of players, because over the last handful of years, especially this current roster, the guys returning, guys like Caleb Spencer and all the guys that decided to stay, they know what it was like, not so much with pride, but they know what it was like the last few years as far as their reputation. And I think when you look at what they're going to be doing and motivated, I think you're gonna see a team that's gonna come out locked in. I don't know what the win total is gonna be. No one does. Just like we didn't know Duke and UVA were gonna play for the ACC minus Miami. We didn't know Miami was going to make that run, but we knew their roster was capable. This is on paper, a very good roster, some improving parts, but Anthony Mitchell was a good addition to the staff. Although I will say, Pearson Prelo was a great coach too. I mean, Pearson Prelo and Anthony Midget played with me and they played together. But I think when you talk about coaching experience, Midget has been in the NFL, but Pearson is a great mind as well. So does Anthony Midget coming to Virginia Tech mean it's going to be so much better? I will say Midget has coached with Franklin, right? So there's a connection there. I think one thing we undersell when you look at rosters is how a coaching staff will manage that roster. I really feel like chemistry and cohesiveness is not just important for a football team, but it's important for a coaching staff. One of the things, what I mean by that, Rick, is one thing that's not talked about enough is Beamer, it was the face of the program for decades, and he was known and as a winner, right? But his staff was a winning staff. You had a cohesive group that functioned like a well-oiled machine that kind of understood what he needed. So, like, when you look at Frank Beamer, when you have J.B. Grimes, who was there for a handful of years, then you had Stein Spring, Almation, who comes on your show, he was there for a few years. Bud Foster was there forever, and Billy Height. All those guys are household names. Like, very few programs historically have assistants that are household names. We might know Venables, we might
That's
know the
right.
coordinator, but when you look at Beamer's era, his staff was household name, including his strength and conditioning coach, Mike Gentry. Everybody from Sports Illustrated to magazines to GNC writers, everybody was in Blacksburg those years to figure out what Mike Gentry's secret was. I mean, he had interviews. He was on the cover of Strength and Conditioning magazines. That shows you Beamer put together a staff very similar to, what the Beatles did back in the day, or Wu-Tang Clan. And when you have a great mix, a legendary group, when you get a great band together, their music is timeless.
Yeah.
And when you look at Beamer, what he did with his group, that group was timeless. Like, we still reference them because we're not stuck in back in the day. We were still polarized by what they created, that recipe for winning in Blacksburg. Well, Franklin has a chance to do the same thing. Although now coaches and assistants don't stay as long, I think the combination of something to prove with a proven staff and also players that are motivated could be really special. I'm not going to say undefeated or 11 wins. I really don't know.
Yeah. Right.
My
Right.
biggest question is quarterback and O-line play, because I think the O-line has been so inconsistent since that group that left when Fuente was here with Darisaw and those guys. So O-line play will be critical as well. But I think, if I don't know, I guess ask me again in August and I'll give you the
Yeah.
over under.
Yeah. Yeah. That's smart. I mean, I get it. That's fair. And of course, the new thing we have to take into effect is pay for play. Coaches have to put on a whole new layer of things they have to address and try to manage that Coach Beamer didn't have to worry about. And it's everywhere across the country with all the transfers. So that's something else that just becomes part of this unknown,
Yeah,
So
that money talks. Money
it does.
talks. Money talks. And that's why when I'm on Twitter Spaces or on your show or other platforms, I focus on the here and now. I'm asked because of my perspective and who I am to compare sometimes, or what's the difference is. But I try to tell people it's a different time, different era, man. When you look at money and you look at regarding what guys are owed and what they make, that plays a huge factor in how your roster is managed.
Did we lose Dwight here? Can you hear me, Dwight? Did we freeze up? I think Dwight.
Yeah,
There
I'm
we
here.
go.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, gotcha. I thought we froze up
Yeah.
completely. Yeah, I agree. And I just think that's become such a big part of it. Franklin seems the kind of guy that, he was doing at Penn State. He'll be able to segue pretty easily into it. I think the programs that we kind of think are going to be good that aren't, maybe they've had a problem with that in the clubhouse a little bit. Maybe that's part of the vibe, which is why they see so many guys transferring out. I don't know, but it's such a major part of it now. So we'll see. But it feels like they're in a good spot going into the season. But like you said, I keep telling people, look at Duke. Duke is a prime example that nobody had them penciled. Nobody had Virginia. Heck, forget Duke. Nobody had Virginia and Duke in the ACC title game, yet that's where we were.
Yeah, I think UVA benefited from one thing that you really can't put on paper, and that was the fact that even though coming into the season, Tony Elliott was on the pseudo hot seat because he was in his fourth year as well. But the expectations were so low, they had nothing. The expectations were low, so they pretty much could just come in and play ball and make it happen. And they had some good close wins, and they were able to build momentum, and it worked out for them.
When you were playing, one thing you've always talked about is the leadership on the offensive line, things like that. How quickly does that need to happen with a bunch of new guys coming in that's going to start for James Franklin in year one? Because you were the anchor of that. You helped bring that along with leadership and so forth. How important is that to get started right off the bat, even what they're doing now in these workouts?
I was cleaning out my basement the other day, and I found an article from 1999 where I basically looked like a prophet, and it was a feature on me, and it was with the Collegiate Times, and I talked about how great Mike was going to be for Virginia Tech, as well as all the players they had coming back, Engelberger, Corey Moore. And I talked about I wouldn't be surprised if they went and played for a national championship. In the article that really made me smile was something I said on your platform many times. Leadership and culture go hand in hand. In the article, I mentioned how I was able to learn from guys like Chris Malone, Bill Conity, J.C. Price, Jay Haygood, Jim Druckenmiller. So, like, when I got there to Virginia Tech in the 90s, I saw what leadership looked like when I looked across from me on the defense and the offense. So then by the time when it was my turn to be a leader, I understood what it took. There's been so much movement, fluctuation with Virginia Tech. Some of these guys are natural leaders, but many of them have not seen the leadership displayed because guys have been in and out or injured, or basically it's been a kind of a carousel. So stability is important for Virginia Tech. It's important for everybody. Look at Indiana. Yes, them and Texas Tech threw the bag at their roster, but even when you bag at a guy, you got to make sure that guy can lead, and not everybody's a leader either. I've seen guys but then get beat for 55. Understanding how to lead is important. I think the offensive line know their assignment and know what they're doing. My biggest issue with the offensive line in recent seasons is they've been horrible in blitz. They rarely set the tone. And I think when your offensive and defensive line are able to set the tone, your skill positions follow. So that's the mentality. But, to be fair to Franklin, that's not on him. That's on your strength and conditioning coach. And I think one small thing they've been able to do to retain the roster is they kept Jared Ferguson. Jared Ferguson remaining on staff is huge because Jared Ferguson knows how to develop. And I think the guys they added with him in that weight room as far as coaches are going to be huge. Games are not won in August. Games are won right now, April, May, June, and July. And I think that's where we're going to see the biggest difference and jump in this Virginia Tech roster if they buy in. And again, I don't really care about the vibes. I've seen vibes good, and everybody feels good like after the NFL draft weekend. Everybody's like, I like our draft. I like our chances. I like the kids we picked up, because that's what they do. You lie to
Yeah.
yourself. We lie to ourselves.
I
I
know.
like our draft. I like, man, that kid we got from Michigan State's really good. And then the Raiders go out and they win and lose like they always do.
Yeah, you're right. No,
So, and I don't mean to
100%.
pick on the Raiders. I don't mean to pick on the Raiders, but I mean, the truth of the matter is, I think the vibes are good with Virginia Tech because Franklin's got a lot of energy, but I think it's not just on him. Again, his staff has to be elite. His staff needs to really be really good in regards to setting the tone so the players personify the mindset that Virginia Tech needs to have going into the season.
That 100%. That's what I've heard from a lot of people, college coaches, a lot of people around college football. He's not necessarily that ball coach, but he's a great overseer of an entire program. He's a great, in lieu of a better term, general manager. You're right. And he trusts his coaches to come in and do their job so he doesn't have to sit around and worry about it. So you're right. That has to take forefront early on for him. So.
And I'll add, Rick, that I stood on this fact. In my opinion, I shouldn't say fact. Even when Pride was the head guy, especially the last couple of seasons with Pride, they had the talent and they had the playmakers. I think scheming and adjusting or adjustments were an issue. I think also preparation was an issue. Um, the offseason conditioning or just really understanding what kind of football team you want to be. But if you go back and look, and sometimes emotion blinds your judgment or you have selective memory. But I do think if you just take the emotion out of it, you go back and check the tape and watch the tape. Virginia Tech, the last two seasons, were in most ball games, if not every game. They were there. It's a fine line between winning and losing, and there were a lot of critical errors and mistakes they made. Right, so you look at a team even under interim coach with Coach Monty, they were able to go down and beat a good NC State team, a team that UVA was down there and lost. Virginia Tech went down there and won. But then they would do stuff like that, and then they would lose. So they would be leading in the third and fourth quarter and give away a game, a turnover. That's why I say it's not so much talent; it's more so just following through. The Wake Forest game, critical penalties, mental errors. They had Wake Forest beat. That's a game they should have won. No disrespect to Wake Forest. Wake Forest had a very good season, but they won 9 games this year. You look at Wake Forest, they won a close game at Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
They won a close game at UVA. No, UVA's quarterback got knocked out. But a team like Wake Forest was able to finish and win those close games. SMU quietly has been able to come into the ACC and win close games and upset teams. I think they got a great culture at SMU. That's a program that's not really sexy. Nobody talks about them. But, and again, I don't think it's because of the ACC. I think when you look at the money they're putting into the program, but more importantly, the money they're investing into the right players, along with scheme, is a good match. And that's why I say it's a fine line because Franklin, the word on the street, he doesn't overpay, which I'm fine with. Think though you have to pay the right players, but you have to keep these guys motivated.
Well, I agree 100%. I think it's going to be it's a year that fans don't worry about any preseason picks. Don't worry about any where Tech's going to be looked at. They're going to finish. Just let it ride out and watch. And remember, like you mentioned, Wake Forest, a lot of people thought they were going to be one of the worst 2 teams in the league last year. And yet here they are winning 9 games. So you just never know. You don't know.
Yeah.
So, well, it's going to be very fun and very interesting to see. What are you getting into this weekend? How's your son doing, by the way?
Oh, they had a good win last night. They beat, I forgot who they beat, but he led the team in scoring with 17 points, 8 rebounds, 2 of 3 from deep. I mean, I'm a little biased. I'm a realist, but I mean, I think he's the sack rookie of the year, freshman of the year. I think he leads the team or second in scoring. He leads them in rebounding. He's shooting 42.5% from three.
Wow.
He's averaging right around 8 rebounds. He's averaging 12 points a game, right at that. He shoots 53% from the field. To be a freshman, even though it's D2 ball, 6'7" wing, he defends, he rebounds. I think, right now they're the East team, so the top 8 make a conference tournament. That's why I was a big win last night. I think Isaiah, when it's all said and done, and I'm not trying to be the Williams sisters' father or, LeVar Ball, but I believe in my children. I believe in my son, and my son is a talent, and he's having a great. I mean, to me, no matter what level, when you're a freshman, a true freshman, you're starting, and you're going against seniors and juniors and guys who are 24 years old, and you're holding your own. He's probably exceeding expectations. I know I talked to the coaches early in the year. I don't even run up to they came up to me and they said, "Hey, uh, we knew he was skilled, but his IQ and maturity has impressed us beyond what we thought." So we'll see what happens, man. They got, it's that time of year. We're getting ready to go into March. So conference tournaments is getting ready to start. You know, they're a solid team. They've been up and down. Wingate, that is, but I believe that, in the conference tournament, if they stay where they are, the team they would match up with would be the 1 seed, who's nationally ranked, Anderson. But they played them tough, and they had Anderson by 16 points in their second matchup, and kind of gave that game away. They lost by 5 or 6. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm telling you, man. Like, yeah, I know people have been texting me and DMing me about the portal with Isaiah. I'm not talking about that.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not that you're asking, but I know
No,
people,
no.
you don't want to know. I always tell people we will evaluate our decision at the end of the season. He's happy where he's at. But in this lifestyle, in this ball game, you have to evaluate your situation because there's new opportunities that can be presented. But as a father, I'm very proud, to see him. I mean, and you think about it is he's getting 17 points, 22 points, 19 points. I don't know if I told you this, but he had the 30-point game early in the season, which he was 12 of 18 from the field,
Yes.
30
Yep.
points. It was a freshman record, a school record, excuse me, for a freshman. So again, I sit back and I kind of knew this was going to happen. When you know something about a player, the same way I said Mike was going to be special, the same way I said Greg Stroman would be a difference maker. Anyone that knows me, Rick, when I say something, when I believe it, trust me, it's going to happen. So I think my son has a very bright future. I just pray he stays humble, stays locked in. I think, yeah, when it's all said and done, we're going to be talking about him a lot more. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Hey, I know I'm trusting Dad. Yeah. I know you speak the truth, my friend. You speak the truth. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Well, listen, I hope you both have a great weekend, and appreciate you as always, brother. And great insight. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, man. Thank you. And I was jumping on. I know my connection this morning hasn't been the best. I think it's the rain. I don't know what we got.
Yeah.
But you said Radford had a tough loss. I couldn't hear. They had a
The
tough
women,
loss, Radford?
yeah, the women did last night. They were playing a team that they destroyed the first time, and they were 10 under 500. They came to Dedmon and beat them last night. And tonight we're playing the last place team in the league. You know how it goes. I looked at the spread. Radford's 20-point favorites, right? You're supposed to go in and just win tonight, but you got to watch out. And we got an example of it last time on the women's side. So the men try to prevent that tonight. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, man. I love this time of year, basketball. I love it. I do. I love college basketball. Yeah, man, it'll be interesting. We'll talk more about that. But thanks for letting me jump on again as usual, man.
No, as always, brother. Couldn't do it without you. Wouldn't want to do it without you. So I appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Have a great weekend. All right. My best to your family. All right. Great stuff from Dwight Vick. Thank you, Morris. Yeah, my daughter's birthday. I started off the show. Hard to believe that 25 years ago I became a dad. But great young lady. Very proud of her. Very proud of her. By the way, folks, you can't make it up. What did I just say? So you saw me get into the phone and say, Selma Hayek, bring me ribeye. Look at the first post that showed up on X. Can you see that? That's Selma Hayek. Somebody posted Selma Hayek ageless. So I retweeted it and I said, I just mentioned this, and this is the first thing on X. You don't tell me the phones aren't monitoring us. These are all just devices by the government. Marketing companies, everything you say, everything you know, boom, is right there. Can't make it up. She showed up immediately. Not that I'm complaining, but just goes to show you that it's true. Man, what a good show today. Jeez Louise. David Smith, best NFL news and conversation anywhere. Andy Bitter, terrific stuff for him. Alex Guerra, Radford baseball. Dwight Vick. I mean, my goodness gracious. My wife was trying to take me to Panera for my birthday. I died laughing. Did you explain it to her, Andrew? Thanks, honey. Thanks, but I really like my set of teeth. Tomorrow, Mike and Jen. Mike is in town later today. He'll be at the game tonight down at Radford. So thanks, everybody. Have a great Thursday. Continue to spread the word. There you go. You went to Buffalo Wild Wings. So see, there you go. And let's get this thing to 1,000. Thanks for all your support. Thanks again to our sponsors. We'll see everybody tomorrow on the Finally Friday edition. Take care, everybody.